It's another lovely day today in Amsterdam. It's not as warm as last time. And we're on the other side because today we're a lot more activists. You guys want to try a social experiment? But we're here, and let's do it. Hey Roy Astem, nice to see you here. You were here also for the first last time. Can you hear me okay? Yes, good audio, nice. Hey BBOM. BBOM, interesting name. Boom. Yeah, let's see what it's always when we get started, it takes a little bit of time. It also takes a little bit of time also for me mentally to get into it. But it's always after a conversation or two it gets better. Yeah, we're here. We're trying to speak up for animal rights. And let's see who wants to have a conversation. You want to try a social experiment? Let's see who wants to have a conversation with us. Hey Surajit, nice to see you here. And it is sunny, that's why I have my sunglasses on. So, yeah, there's a lot of people today on the streets, but there's also a lot of activists. Well, not as many as usual. We're just 4 activists now, and I think we'll be 6 in total. Which is pretty good. 6 people speaking to every person on the street. Hey, you want to try the social experiment? I just ask you some questions, that's it.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you okay being live from my YouTube channel?
Yes, not a problem.
Can you come closer so that you're
I'm
in
Lee.
Lee?
Yes.
I'm Chip, nice to meet you, Lee.
Nice to meet you.
So, I want to ask you, Lee, how do you feel about animals?
Yeah, I like animals.
You like animals?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what is it about animals that you like?
Tell you the truth, I don't know. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I just like animals.
Maybe they're just innocent and playful, right, or stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Do you think animals deserve moral consideration?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think animal exploitation is something that we should be encouraging or something that we should be perpetuating?
I'd probably say yes.
Animal exploitation.
Oh, sorry. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, no,
definitely
that's
not.
okay.
No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, is it safe to assume that you're against animal exploitation?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And here comes, and I'm not judging this, but what about the animals that we force into slaughterhouses? Do you think we're exploiting them?
It's a hard one. We've got to eat.
Well, we don't have to eat animals, do we?
No. And plus, do I think we should kill them? No. I'd probably say we should probably eat them after they're dead. Do you know what I mean?
In a sense, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm here trying to have conversations with people about this, and I merely want to challenge this perception or this view of animals as objects that we can just take from, right? Because we as humans obviously have power over them, right?
Yes.
Do you think it's fair to use our power to use them, to exploit them, to do whatever we want to them just because we have power over them?
No, not really, no. I don't
No.
believe in that.
No.
I believe that they've been put there for a reason. Is it to be eaten? Are they there to make the world grow better? You know what I mean?
So do you think animals are here for us to eat them, or do you think they're here with us?
I'd probably say certain ones with us.
Yeah.
Yes, I think certain ones are there to be eaten to make life evolve.
And who gave them that purpose?
There's only one person, isn't there?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, God.
Well, no,
He
because
put,
we breed these animals into existence for the sole purpose of exploiting them and killing them.
yeah, he put them there. We breed them.
Yeah, so do you think it's okay for us to breed animals into existence for the sole purpose of exploiting them and killing them? Like, what do your values say? Is that is that moral to you?
No, see, it's hard for me. I like meat.
I understand.
Do you know what I mean?
Try to
Yeah.
detach yourself a little bit from that, right? Because
I used to work in a slaughterhouse.
I used to consume animal products also, right? But
Yeah.
like I'm trying to explore a little bit of your values to see if they even align with it, right? Because meat and all of this, it's so easy for us to get into a direction where we're like, oh yeah, I like this so much, and it's so we can justify doing so much because of the pleasure that it gives us. But I'm trying to understand outside of that, like if you
Yeah.
put that on the side, do you think what we do to animals is okay?
No.
No, right?
No.
Because, right, to some extent we do have alternatives. It's not a need for us. So when we do it, we make a conscious choice to do this to them, right?
Yes.
So breeding them into existence, exploiting them, and then killing them is somewhat fucked up, right?
Yeah,
In a
yeah.
sense.
It's all we, you know what I mean? Like our generation, it's all we kind of know.
Yeah.
You kind of went through school. That's what you do. You breed
Yeah.
animals, you kill them, you eat them. You knew no different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's only now, obviously, the next generation, the generation on, is starting to think different.
Yeah, we're
like
trying
we,
to
we never
question
knew
it,
different.
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's also because nowadays there's an abundance of choices more than there was in the past, right?
Yes.
Like nowadays we do have so many alternatives that choosing animal products is kind of like either an appeal to convenience, to an appeal to tradition, or something along those lines, where we're like, oh well, that's how I was used to my whole life.
That's,
therefore
yeah. That's like me now. I don't see the point in changing. You know what I mean? I've ate meat for forever.
Yeah, but
You know?
I can understand that from your perspective there is no point. But do you think that from the perspective of these animals, right? Like up to 100 animals per year are exploited and slaughtered on your behalf because you choose to buy animal products. Do you think that those 100 animals, their life is so meaningless, or they don't deserve, they don't have moral worth, that they have that little moral worth that your convenience, your taste, or your tradition trumps all of their existence and their experience?
Yeah. No, I still just carry on, just eat meat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I worked in the slaughterhouse when I was younger.
Yeah.
Did I like it? No, not one bit.
No, but
but
all
it
the
was-
animals end up in the slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
huh?
that's what I mean. It was
Yeah.
money. It was just life. It's kind of what all you knew.
Yeah.
But I got a couple of friends who are vegetarian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just couldn't do it. Even though it's a shame on the animals, but it's all I know is life.
But let me just put things into perspective, because you mentioned vegetarians, and I don't care. Vegetarians are still on the same boat as you, right?
Yes.
Because all animal products essentially exploit animals. So just to put things into perspective, like, do you know what happens to dairy cows?
Yes.
Like, let's just walk through it to be sure. That's all I want to
Okay,
know.
yeah.
So, do you know why cows produce milk?
What's that? Sorry.
Why do cows produce milk? It's
To
not a
f- to
it's
feed-
not a
to
gotcha
feed their-
question.
Yeah, to feed their young.
Yeah.
Like women feed our young.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, do you think that cows decide on their own when they want to get pregnant, or do you think farmers decide for them?
Farmers.
Yeah. So does that mean that they get forcibly impregnated, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Farmers.
I agree.
If that were to happen to a human being, how would we call that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
wrong.
right,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
wrong. Yeah. So and after 9 months, when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
They get built up to eat, reproduce again.
Some, yes, but the first thing that happens on their first day of life is they get separated from their mothers.
Yes.
So that they don't drink the milk, or so that the farmer can control how much milk they drink. Sometimes farmers still feed them back some milk, but a lot of the times they just feed them a different formula to them, and then the milk goes for human consumption.
Yeah.
And yeah, if they're born male, they get killed because they're useless to the industry. They either grown up to a year, rarely, but usually they just get killed straight away, because dairy farmers are not the same as meat farmers. You know, they're different concerns.
Yes.
And if they're born female, they suffer the same fate as their mother, year over year, forceful impregnation, having their baby stolen from them and exploited for their milk. And when they can no longer be impregnated, they get killed.
Yes.
And that usually happens around the age to 6 to 8 years, and they can live up to 24, 25 years. So a quarter of their lives spent being exploited, raped, and miserable. Like, is this something you want to be part of?
No, when you put it like that, no.
Yeah.
But what do you eat? What's your?
I mean, I'm vegan, you know, so I consume plant-based products. In the case of milk, for example, there is oat milk that I enjoy, or soy milk, depending
Okay.
on the case. Like oat milk is tastier, but soy milk is higher in protein. So if I have a meal where most of the taste comes from something else, I just replace it with soy. If I have a meal that requires, like, let's say cereal, then obviously I'm going to choose oat milk because the taste of the milk will matter a
Yes.
lot. And that's milk. For cheese, there's plant-based cheeses nowadays, but I don't know. I come from Romania. I never was a big cheese guy myself, so it wasn't a
Yeah.
big deal for me. And for meat, there's so many alternatives these days, and there's tofu, tempeh, and plant-based alternatives that nowadays they mimic the texture and taste of meat so much that obviously there is a difference, especially if you consume meat, you will taste the difference.
Yes.
But you just got to ask yourself if that difference is really worth supporting this kind of shit, because
Yeah, no, I understand 100%. And
Yeah.
it does make you think, like the conversation there's made you think,
yeah, because
would I change? I probably wouldn't know.
yeah.
It's-
What if there were dogs? Would you change if it were dogs in that position?
Yeah, like I say, back, like we don't know no difference. So obviously you get your dogs, your
Yeah.
cats, that we class them as pets, don't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? With cows and stuff like that, all we ever knew was they're there to eat.
Yeah, but do you think, like, because this is a little bit of a discrimination, isn't it? Because we choose to say that because you're born a dog, you deserve love from me, but because you're born a cow, you deserve a knife to the throat. And it's like none of them chose that.
Yeah.
Both of them just were dropped on earth in that situation,
Yes.
and we judge them based on that, and we say, well, you're not worthy of existence or of no pain. We just slash your throat, right? So obviously this could continue even whether you choose to participate in it or not, and it will continue. But the question is whether you want to be part of it or not, right? Whether your values say that judging an animal based on something that they never chose, the species that they're born into, is a fair assessment to do.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely have a look into it more. I'll follow
Yeah.
your YouTube channel, obviously, and keep up with you and see
Yeah.
what. But yeah, no, I'll definitely have a think about it.
Yeah, and
Because obviously you can't change it. One person can't change everything.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like the wars at the minute. You can't change it. You can talk about it, but you can't change it.
no, so there's around 90 billion land animals that we kill every year on the whole planet, and obviously one person going vegan can save up to 100 animals per year.
Okay.
So of course, if you subtract 100 from the 90 billion animals, it's nothing. It's still a giant number.
Yes.
So you could see it as it means nothing in the whole grand scheme of things, but it does mean everything to those 100 animals.
Yes.
Like if you were in their shoes, like when we just see animals or individuals as numbers, we kind of disregard their individuality, their personalities, and which I'm sure you have seen through dogs,
Yeah.
through cats, and cows, chickens, and pigs. They're similar.
Yeah. See, the way I see it is
Yeah.
if say just for me instance,
Yeah.
I stop and there's 1,000 animals saved.
Yeah.
The only way I see it, them 1,000 would have died anyway, and the meat just gets thrown.
Maybe in the
You know,
first year, but then
yeah.
in the second year, the next one will be spared, because obviously production does have a limit, right? Like nobody produces just to throw away. So if they produce, the supermarkets buys it, and the supermarket, if they throw it away, then at some point supermarket just starts ordering less. My parents had a supermarket, and I've seen it. If it's a small supermarket, because they had a small supermarket, they actually do it straight away, right? Like
Yes.
bigger chains, of course, they move products from here to there, but still, even then, demand still matters. Even there, demand still drives how many animals will be exploited and slaughtered. And again, I come back to the same thing. At the end of the day, you also got to ask yourself, where do you want to sit on this issue? Where
No.
where do your values sit on this?
Yeah. At the moment,
There's no exploitation of animals. I don't want to be on the video.
Yeah.
There's no exploitation of animals. There's no purpose to breed. So then there's the extinction of animals. So then that create of the world disappears. So the animals will become extinct.
Yeah, but
You need a purpose to create.
we don't. I would say that it's wrong to bring somebody to existence for the sole purpose of exploiting and killing them, even if you give them existence, right? Because that would if
They
you
don't have a mind like we have a mind.
well, they do have consciousness. They do have the subjective experience of the
Yeah.
world. I would describe them that they have an experience of the world much like an intellectually challenged human does, much like a dog does, right? Where they probably can't think their way. They don't have a language per se that comes. The thoughts don't come in a language form, but they do have thoughts coming. They do have emotions. They do feel everything.
Has there been so like an actual scientific experiment to show the brain activity of an animal and how what they perceive as.
Yeah, there's several actually, and there's based on several studies, there have been two declarations done so far. The Declaration of Consciousness, one by Cambridge, it's called the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness, and one by the New York Declaration of Consciousness, and all of them admit that. Well, admit, I don't know, because it's not like they were not admitting it. I don't know what the right word is, but like they declare that animals are sentient, that they have emotions, that they have feelings, and that they're very similar to us in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I like to say it like they're similar to us in all the ways that matter, right? Because we like to think that because we're more intelligent, somehow we are more moral, we have more moral worth.
Yes.
But then if we were to judge two individual humans, one more intelligent than the other, we wouldn't say that the more intelligent human being has more moral worth, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So we go back and forth, but the reality is, I think, individuality, personality, the fact that there's somebody behind those eyes, that's kind of how I see it, then that should alone tell us that we don't want to kill that somebody. We shouldn't bring them to life just to kill them and exploit them.
No, which I 100% agree with that. You know what I mean?
Take away the difference in the world. If we didn't have the breeding of them, then that it becomes extinct, doesn't it? And then you don't have that animal to.
Well, not necessarily, right? Because as more and more people, let's say in this world, as more and more people go vegan, we would still have sanctuaries of animals. There are currently sanctuaries.
For a purpose of.
Well, we're no longer breeding them. We would no longer be. Sanctuaries aren't for entertainment. Sanctuaries are just places where animals
Then once they die off,
are
there's
safe.
no-
Perhaps they multiply, perhaps they don't. But who are we to judge whether a species should exist or not, right? Like, how are we? Why are we like? Why should we play God and say that we create a species, we bring them to existence only to exploit them and kill them, and then we say, well, if we wouldn't do this, they would die off. Yeah, but we created them in the first place, didn't we? Like
We didn't create a lot of the animals. A lot of the animals were created a lot.
all of the animals that we use in animal agriculture are animals we created, are animals that are domesticated by us. They come from animals that were in the wild, but they are animals that we created.
But they were created before humans. We've evolved them by creating them, and
Yeah, but
actually
the other
they were
animals,
God's creation.
the other animals still exist, and they can still continue to exist alongside us. Like, why is it that we have to create animals only for us to exploit? Like, again, I'm not opposed to the idea of us necessarily keeping these animals alive, or as you said, maybe breeding some of them so that we continue having the species. But I'm just completely opposed to the idea of breeding them for our purpose, for our benefit, right? Like, when we have a child, we never bring them to life for our selfish purpose. We never say, well, your life is now, because I brought you to life, you are now to be my slave or something, right?
But I disagree that we do actually breed children for our purpose.
It's a bit selfish,
We
but-
don't breed. You have sex for a reason to
Yeah.
breed.
No,
So
no.
you're,
Yeah,
you're
I
doing it
agree.
for your own purpose. You don't just make a baby for God doesn't make.
But
you
after
have
the
a
baby comes, you look after their own interests, not after yours, right?
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
you are their guidance. You are their creation.
Yeah. But the problem is that after you bring them into existence, again, the difference
You're
is.
breeding them for a purpose to then continue to breed.
Yeah, but with
for
an animal, like, do your values say that it's okay to bring an animal to existence only for the sole purpose of you using them for whatever it is that you need, and when you can no longer use them to kill them?
And breeding it to allow them to live a healthy life. It's still exactly the same.
Well, no, because they still are animals who want to live their life. They have a will, just
They
like you
didn't
have a
ask to
will.
be born in the world, just like children have.
Just like
asked
you also didn't choose to be
I
born.
chose to be
Yeah.
born, absolutely.
Yeah, but
But
you
my
do have
parents
free
chose-
will, right? If your parents were to give you like a purpose and say that your purpose is to be a slave to me or something else, would that be
That's
fair
what you
towards
would-
you?
Ethically, no, because that's all
So
the
that's
human
what I'm
rights,
saying.
but there's no animal rights in
But
that
it would be
sense.
the only thing you ever knew. You wouldn't
Yeah.
know no different. As
Well-
with like cows, for instance.
But that doesn't make it right, right? If I were to do that
No,
to a
it's not
human
right
being,
at
it still
all.
wouldn't be right.
No.
And
It's not right with all the wars, and it's not right with.
of course it's not. Of course it's not. 100%. It's just that this particular issue, this particular system is a system that inherently depends on exploitation of animals. Animal agriculture cannot exist without animal exploitation.
Yes.
So it's a system that we cannot improve on. It's not a system like wars, like electronics or other systems, which, yeah, they have some form of exploitation within them, but we can improve on those, right? Like child labor should not exist.
No.
But us rejecting products that come from child labor would not make child labor not exist. It will just solely make that child labor switches to another thing.
Yes.
So child labor is a problem that needs to be tackled on its own. Whereas animal exploitation, with animal agriculture, if we reject it, it will disappear, because if nobody wants to buy products coming from exploited animals, animals will no longer be exploited. It's as simple as that, right? And it can no longer, I mean, sure, you can make improvements for the life of an animal, but at the end of the day, they will still always be exploited.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely go away and have a good talk, listen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not an ignorant person.
Yeah, I appreciate
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time as well.
Okay, so I'll just ask you one final question and I'll let you go. How many more animals should be exploited for you before you make a change?
I don't know.
How many do you want? Let's put it this way.
See, I can't give you that answer. I
That's
don't.
okay.
I don't know that answer.
That's okay. So the reason why I asked this question, by the way, is it's not necessarily to have a gotcha or something. It's more like to bring it, to give it again a little bit more perspective, right? When we go to a supermarket, when we buy all these animal products, they're neatly packaged. We don't see the animals that suffered. We don't see the exploitation. We just see this neatly packaged at the end of it, right?
Well, I think that's the easy part.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If like when I was in the slaughterhouse, I very rarely ate meat.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't something like.
Because you saw how it was.
I've seen how it happened.
Yeah.
As time goes on, you don't see how it happens.
Yeah.
We've got by us, we've got a chicken farm.
Yeah.
That's literally, it's, how can I explain it? It's not free range. The chickens aren't free range.
Yeah.
They're all cooped up.
Oh, so much worse. Yeah.
I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah.
The animals should be free. You know, if they run around in a nice field, then the farmers kill them and eat them. It's a little bit better. They've had a little bit better of a life. When they're cooped up all together, there is thousands and thousands. We've put signed petitions to get rid of this place.
Yeah.
Still, again, no one listens.
Yeah,
You know
the
what I
thing is, for example, I've been to a biological farm, you know, where chickens have space to roam and everything.
Yes.
And I've been with an organization that pays farmers to take them, like egg-laying chickens.
Okay,
so when the egg-laying chickens no longer lay an egg every day, farmers send them to the slaughterhouse usually.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been to this organization. What they do is they buy off the chickens that they would normally go to slaughter,
Yes.
and then the chickens get bought off by other people who take care of them. Like it's a form of sanctuary for those chickens, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, they give them a good life. But just like when we went there to take the chickens, the farmers literally treat them exactly like objects, because they broke the legs of 2 chickens as they were giving them to us.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they don't really regard them as individuals. They don't see them as as beings who experience the world. They just see them as objects and treat them like objects, because to them it's a business. I don't think they do it in, like, I don't think they're bad people. I just think they have to do this in order to be able to do this as a job.
Yes.
You see what I mean? But we as consumers, we are also putting this on them when we do this. So if we choose to go vegan, we also kind of save them from this shitty place. We save slaughterhouse workers. Like, I think just the whole society would be better off. But hold this for a second. Let me just give you a card. Yeah, I appreciate the conversation you've had with me and the patience.
I see that many people walk past you and don't acknowledge you, so I thought
That's okay. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's what it is. Yeah.
Get into the conversation. Well,
I appreciate you having this conversation with me. I recommend you either watch The Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear or Dominion if you want to see exactly what animals go through. You just gotta scan this QR code.
No, I will do. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Cheers. Have a good one.
you.
Bye. That was a pretty nice conversation. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I think I don't know if I don't think he's changed, right? I mean, that's the whole point of it. We can't really make everybody change. Sometimes we just gotta acknowledge that we plant seeds, and he did say that he wants to look more into it, and I think he got it. I felt like a little bit he understood it. Hey, Lizzie, nice to see you here. The LTN Dracolong, shout out to you, because you are the ones who gave the first comment last video. Thank you for that. Yeah, and welcome everybody. Good afternoon, says the LTN, yeah. And welcome everybody. I hope you're enjoying the conversations, and if you are, hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe, as this person just said. We have these conversations 2 or 3 times per week, and we're enjoying them, yeah. We're trying to get people to think a little bit. And I don't know if we were enjoying them. That's a bit of a strong thing to say that we're enjoying them. I think it's a little bit more that we're enjoying knowing that we're doing the right thing. That's kind of how it says. Unknown77 says, stop brainwashing. Unknown77, please explain to me what exactly it is that I am brainwashing. If you make a statement, please back it up. So what is it exactly that I'm brainwashing? Do you think dairy cows are not forcefully impregnated? Do you think dairy cows don't have their babies taken away from them? Do you think dairy cows are not killed when they can no longer be impregnated with ease? Is that it? Cygnus Fitz says, get a real job. Cygnus Fitz, this is Sunday. I do have a real job, and that starts on Monday, from Monday to Friday. But yeah, I also like to fight for animal rights. And do you think sitting on the street trying to fight for animal rights is not a real job? What exactly, how do you define a real job then? If you need meat to survive, go to prison, you get a lot of meat there. Yeah, there you go. That's kind of a funny statement. There's a bit of a sun in my eye, so that's why I'm... Health, at least you acknowledge it to some degree. I don't know what that means, but yeah. First Heaven says, well, I'm a butcher. Yeah, First Heaven. So what kind of butcher are you? Do you just get the dead corpses and then you chop them up to pieces so that people buy parts of the dead corpses? Or are you a butcher that actually puts the knife through the throat of animals? Shrek Smith says, I love steak. Yeah, Shrek Smith, I would expect that you come into obviously a pretty obvious vegan channel, a pretty obvious vegan video, and you say that you love the product that comes out of exploiting, slaughtering, and abusing innocent animals. And I know that you can think about yourself, that what you like, what you enjoy, but can you for a second think about the victims of your choices? Where is this location? This is in Amsterdam. The LTN says, my grandparents were butchers, I'm vegan. There you go. So Shrek Smith, you cannot possibly think of the victim of your choices. I get it. Is it because you're selfish, or is it because you cannot think about anybody outside of yourself or your circle of influence? Is it that you really just don't care about yourself or people within your group? Yeah, so it is because you can only think about yourself. Okay. That's a bit selfish, I won't lie. Yeah, having no empathy at all towards other individuals. You want to try a social experiment? Hey, BBOM, oh my God, 20 pounds, thank you so much. You are amazing, thank you so much. BBOM, you are amazing, thank you for the donation, for the support. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, James, nice to see you in the chat. Man, James, I wish I could catch your live streams. James, in case you didn't know, homeless vegan, also known as James, he also does live outreach. It speaks to people, but he's more in the US time zone, and I never get to catch you. I saw that today you're gonna be there. Chris says, what about shrimp? What about shrimp? Shrimp are still sentient individuals. Did you know that in the shrimp industry, they remove the eyes so that they multiply faster? That's insane, huh? Homeless vegan, insane. Hey, thank you so much. Homeless vegan, that wasn't needed. Thank you so much, thank you. Cody Miller says, about to eat some eggs, bacon, and sausage, and I'll make some toast just for you, says Cody Miller. So Cody Miller, so you are about to eat the product that comes out of exploiting and slaughtering innocent animals. Would you do the same to dogs? Would you think it's okay to eat dog bacon, or to slaughter dogs for food, for something that is essentially optional to you? Not in situations where you, oh, but come on, you need it. What if you need it? No. In situations where you literally have other alternatives, like you do nowadays. And by the way, to all the non-vegans in the chat who don't believe anything I say, I urge you to fact check what I say. I'm not here to say, trust me. I'm not some bullshit drifter here telling you, oh, trust me. No, I'm telling you, look it up and see for yourself, think for yourself. In fact, you know what? I would argue that I'm here just to get you to think for yourself. You guys want to try a social experiment? Oh, brother. Here we go with the crop that's vegan farming kills more snakes, moles, voles. Moles and voles and voles and moles. Here we are, everybody. Say it all together. Voles and voles and voles and moles. And frogs, then beef farming kills cows. Yeah, but beef farming kills also moles and voles and voles and moles. Can you complain to me? Yes, come here. So in case you guys didn't know, this is Sohan.
Hi. Yeah, my name's Sohan. I've been vegan for 2 years and an activist for half a year, I think.
There you go. There you go. And
So-
he's very smart. He's a theoretical physicist. So you just know. Like again, like you just know. It's important. And he looks good, right? He's handsome, as you can see. So tell us.
I'm here to complain because I just did the social experiment that we usually do, and in the first stage, for people who don't know, we present a couple of hypothetical situations to get people to establish their values before we start talking about veganism. So the first stage is about imagine a hypothetical where someone adopts a puppy. A year later, puppy grows into a dog, and this person kills the dog painlessly because they don't like having a dog and they miss having a puppy. But they give her a great life up until the moment they kill her. Is that okay? Everyone says no, so that sort of establishes the value that killing these animals is wrong, regardless of whether or not they suffer on the way there. The second stage is about bullfighting, and we talk a little bit about the ethics of bullfighting. And so I just did this social experiment with a woman, and for the first stage, it was immediate, hard no. This dog has a desire to live, and she deserves to live, and we don't have the right to take that away from her.
Oh, nice.
Second stage, bullfighting, on the side of the bullfighters. It's
On the
part of
side.
our tradition, and these bulls are bred for that purpose, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And then I asked, okay, so what's the difference between the first and second stages? And she was like, well, like the dog is your friend, and the bulls, it's part of a tradition. And yeah, so
only the values you add to
I was
animals.
shocked by how quickly she turned around and went from, in the first stage, every animal has the right to live, I wouldn't even hurt a fly, that's wrong, to actually, if we've been doing it for a long time, it's totally okay.
Yeah, because that's what that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, you should have said that the dogs are. It's also something that your family has been doing your whole life with the dogs, right? That's what you do. You bring dogs to life.
Yeah.
You give them a good life, and when they reach 1 year old, you kill them because they're no longer puppies. So fuck them.
Yeah, I think then she probably would have been okay with it.
She would have been okay with it. because
That was my guess,
tradition.
because
Of course.
she was so like, she said it was. I was especially shocked because she said she's been to bullfights. So
Oh,
she went
God.
from like
Oh, here it is.
30 seconds between saying every animal has a right to live and we don't have a right to take that away from them to, oh yeah, I've been to bullfights. I've also been to places where, yeah, like I've seen like traditional ways of killing. So anyway,
Nice.
now I'm pissed off and I need to take a
I
couple
get
minutes
it,
before I
get it,
start my
get
next
it, I get it.
conversation.
I get it, yeah. And that's essentially always, by the way. People in the chat, non-vegans, do you guys think it's okay to exploit and slaughter animals like that? Do you think bullfighting is okay?
I'm not the one doing the killing, I'm just eating.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not the one doing the killing. I'm just eating, right? That's what you're saying. Well, you're paying for the killing, aren't you? You're paying. It's you have the responsibility. Do you negate the responsibility you have for those animals that are exploited and slaughtered on your behalf? We love dogs because they helped us hunt and protect us. Pigs don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know any hunting chihuahuas?
Only hunting chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen chihuahuas fight bears. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
thing,
it
it's
happens
a
all
thing.
the time, right?
It happens all the time, especially in the middle of Amsterdam.
Yes.
Yeah, we all know.
We have a
and-
huge problem with bear attacks in
yeah.
Amsterdam. For
and
those
in
who
New
don't
York
know.
City also.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
know. I know it. It's bears walking around, and luckily we have chihuahuas to protect us.
Yes,
Because
yes.
otherwise not. Yeah. Yeah, but all the other species of dogs that are not chihuahuas, we can literally slaughter them because that's
Totally
okay.
fine.
Yeah, and especially if they're not cute enough. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. For a little taste pleasure, you torture others horrifically. Yeah, I think that's really it.
Yeah. This is what we're doing.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'm sure that Chip tells a lot of people to watch Gary Yourofsky's Best Speech You'll Ever Hear. If you don't want to sit down for a longer speech, I highly recommend Joey Carbstrong's speech at the Oxford Union. It's, I think, about 4 minutes long, but the whole thing just drives home how horrific it is that we kill trillions of animals a year just for a few minutes of taste pleasure that is forgotten almost as soon as it's experienced. So check that out. I'm going to go back to bringing people in, and
You're doing an awesome job. So
you as well.
yeah. Are you better now? Are you?
Definitely better, yes.
Definitely better. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when you need to release, man. And sometimes you meet these people, and you definitely need to do that. My screen is I can barely see my screen because of the sun that comes from that side. But yeah, Sohan is sitting. You see him right over here. You guys want to try a social experiment? Hi, are you okay being live for my YouTube channel? What's your name?
Julieta, hola.
Julieta, nice to meet you, Julieta. I'm Chip.
Nice to meet
Do you want to come a little bit closer so that you're in view?
Sí.
Nice. Okay, so how do you feel about animals, Julieta?
I like animals. I love dogs.
You love dogs? What is it about dogs that you love?
They are, we say in Spanish, tiernos. They give me ternura, like I don't know which is the English word for that feeling.
They're cute to you or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any pets of your own?
See, I have two.
You have two dogs?
Two dogs.
What are the names?
Duke, and Milo.
Duke and Milo. Can you tell me, a boy and girl or?
No, two boys.
Two boys. Can you tell me something about them?
Milo is Duke's son, and Milo is a baby. He's
Ah.
very playful, and we use the word latoso in Mexico. And Duque is always mad about Milo because he's always too playful.
Ah, okay. So you've acknowledged that they have different personalities and such,
Sí,
right?
sí, sí, very different.
Do you see them as members of your family or do you see them as objects that you just play with?
Members of my family.
Members of your family. Do you think that behind those eyes there's a somebody?
Sí, totally.
There's a somebody, right? Like just like behind my eyes there's a somebody and behind yours, right?
Sí.
Okay. And do you think that if they were not to be your pets, they would just be dogs somewhere living? Doesn't matter if they're on the streets or something, just somewhere else. Do you think it would be fair to exploit or kill them?
Oh, no.
No. What if you get benefit from doing that?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? No. Okay. Okay. Is it because they're dogs, or is it because there's a somebody behind those eyes?
I especially have a connection with dogs.
Yeah.
I love animals, but especially with dogs, I love dogs. I could tell you that I feel something about animals. I respect them, but
Yeah.
especially with dogs, I love dogs. I couldn't hurt any dog.
Okay. What about cats? Could you hurt cats?
No, I couldn't but I don't like them. I try to avoid them. I don't hurt any animal,
But you respect them from a distance. Okay. And here's the final question, and it's not a gotcha or something. What about cows, chickens, pigs?
I try to respect them. I am trying to become vegetarian. I am trying. I am in a process. I started by reducing my consume. So I think it's a process, and I have already begun the trip.
Okay. So why do you say vegetarian? Do you know what happens to dairy cows?
I am not ready yet. I love cheese, and I am and being I forgot the word being. To be true, I am not ready to leave cheese.
But would it be okay for somebody to rape your dogs so that they get the milk from them?
No,
No, but it's okay to do to a cow?
no, you're right.
Because that's what they do, like farmers, they forcefully impregnate cows in order to get them pregnant so that they produce milk. What do you think happens to their babies, by the way?
I don't know. I could think they make them grow to produce meat.
Well, if they're born male, the first thing that happens is they get separated from their mother because farmers need to control how much milk they drink. Because if they drink too much, then they can't sell a lot of it, right? It's a business to them. If they're born male, they kill them because they don't produce milk. If they're born female, same fate as their mother. Every year raped and have their baby stolen from them and exploited throughout the year. And when they can no longer impregnate them, they get killed. And that usually happens after 6 years or 6 to 8 repeated impregnations. And yeah, they can live up to 24, 25 years. So they live a fraction of their lifespan where they get exploited and killed. Is that what your values say that it's okay to participate in?
No, no, I have never stopped to think what was the
Process, yeah.
the process of the cheese on my table.
Yeah.
But you have a point. I have never thought about it.
Yeah, and it's messed up because, you know, like, do you think there's any way that we can farm animals without exploiting them?
Maybe locally, like more organic way.
Do you
I don't
think
know.
that's not still exploiting them? It's
No,
still not using them for
it
our
is.
benefit?
No, it is. You have a point, but I think maybe more organic products have like less impact on animals because they produce it on a little scale. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so-
have to think about that, and I have to get deep on that field of knowing.
Yeah.
I have to do a research, but you have a point. I have never thought about that.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. That's why I like to sit here and have conversations with people, because I need. A lot of people don't know. I also didn't know about it, you know. And I'm not judging you or blaming you for it, right? Like we are sold lies by these industries. You know, these industries, they do exploit and slaughter animals in ways that we would never actually approve of, but because it's a business to them, they hide all of that from us, and you only see the clean, neat product in the supermarket or in the restaurant. But behind that, there was an individual who suffered, who didn't want to die, who didn't want their baby stolen from them, who fought, who cried, who laughed, you know, like, to do this to them. Do you think it's fair for something
no.
that we can live without at the end of the day, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I think you're right. As I told you, I am just starting my trip to, as I told you, vegetarian, but I have to give a second thought as veganism.
And let me ask you, if it were dogs, would you see it as an urgency to stop, or would you still take it as a journey and in time?
I think it depends on every person, but I think maybe I have just started, and that's a big step. And I don't know. I will, as I told you, I will make a research, and also with knowledge, I
Yeah.
think I could make a faster decision and a faster change.
Yeah, because, you know, every time we buy an animal product, is an animal, not that animal that we bought the product from, that the product comes from, but another animal in their place will be exploited and slaughtered for us, you know. So if we can choose to not do that, why wouldn't we, right? If we can choose to, I think, like, you can find ways to make it work for you. You have alternatives, they don't, right? You have options, they don't. So one final question, and it's a difficult one. How many more animals should be exploited on your behalf before you make a change?
I don't know.
How many do you want?
I don't know. I can tell you that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me give you a card to help you with that. The reason why I posed this question, by the way, is because I want to, again, as I said, like, we're disconnected from when we see in the supermarket, from the product, from what happens to the animals. And it's important that we kind of consider it, because up to 100 animals per year are exploited and slaughtered on our behalf if we're not vegan. That's a lot of animals, right?
Sí.
So if you were to change now, you could save up to 100 animals this year alone. So think about it that way, okay? Thank you, Julieta. I remembered your name. It's like the Romeo and Juliet.
Sí,
Nice.
correcto.
Yeah. Let me tell you real quick. If you scan this QR code, you should watch either Dominion to see exactly what animals go through. It's a little bit gruesome, I'll tell you that. And if you can't watch that, watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. They're the first two videos on when you scan this QR
Okay.
code.
Thank you.
And let me give you one with a dog, actually, because you
Sí.
yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
And one thing I'll tell you, that you have a thing there called Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan, all of it for free.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Sounds like something you would need, okay?
Thank you.
Think about it, and also make changes, because we need changes to be made, not just thinking, okay? Thank you so
Okay,
much.
I'll do.
Yeah, have a good one. Well, at least we got her to consider veganism instead of vegetarianism, huh? We're slowly making changes. We do our best. What can we do? Already contradicting yourself. Shrek Smith. Wow, Shrek Smith, you drop a... I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah. Shrek Smith, I invite you to contact me on my Instagram channel. My handle is Real Chip Guy. And yeah, let's set up a debate, because you seem to be very opinionated and you seem to think that you are right. So you shouldn't have any problems maintaining your position in a debate, right? And even if you don't actually want to debate, you can also just have a conversation with me. You should be able to maintain your status, shouldn't you? Frank Vrooman says, plants I believe are living too. Yeah, but plants are not sentient. If you look at a plant, you don't think there's a somebody, right? There's a somebody behind, I don't know, there's not even eyes or anything. Plants don't have a brain, they don't have a central nervous system. There's no reminiscence of sentience or any of it. But regardless, you know, when you buy animal products, you also kill all the plants that those animals have eaten. And they usually eat way more than you would otherwise have eaten. It only makes sense, right? It's a energy balance thing. So there you go. So if you have a problem with plants being killed, you should still be vegan. It would still be preferable, because you would be killing less plants. Exploiting no animals and killing less plants. How is that not a better solution? I honestly, it's so funny to me that everybody who is not vegan and coming in these chats, they always come up with the most ridiculous excuses. They always come up with me, my taste, me, my convenience, me, I like it, me. And not for a second did they consider all the other repercussions of their choices. The innocent animals being exploited, the vast amounts of lands being used to make their food where they could reduce that, the slaughterhouse workers that are suffering from PTSD because they had to slaughter an innocent animal for you to eat. There's all these other situations. Even if you don't care about the animals themselves, you should still at least consider a plant-based diet, because being vegan literally just means caring about the animals, or caring to the extent where you literally respect them enough to not exploit. You want to try a social experiment? You respect them enough to not exploit them, but there's also all these other things alongside it, and to be so selfish as to say that my taste pleasure trumps all of it it's kind of insane to me. It's kind of insane. And really, the reality is you're not missing out on anything. When you eat plant-based, you're really not missing out on anything, because I think like that's everybody who's not vegan and is in the chat, they're just scared of, oh my God, but I'll be missing out on something that I like my whole life, and I can understand that, you know, like I really can relate to that. It's scary to think that way, but you know what? You wouldn't be missing out on anything. That's the reality. You would be getting all the nutrition that you need. You would be getting amazing taste, because reality is plants taste far better than any animal-based product. That's why we add spices to everything. You want to try a social experiment? You want to try a social experiment? Just ask you some questions, that's it. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I do it in English because everybody who's watching is watching in English. Okay. But if you want, I can give you a flyer, what I'm about. You want that? But it's still in English. Here you go. Thank you. The flyer is very interesting, because the flyer on the face of it says 98% of people are animal abusers. So let's see what they will do with that. Oh, so it was a little girl, and she took the flyer, and then her mother took it away from her. Yeah, of course. No, don't find out the truth. No. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I don't think you're missing out on anything by by going vegan or plant-based. I think it's just irrational fear. And if you consider yourself a manly man, a strong, independent, courageous man, oh, look at me, I'm brave, then be brave enough to make changes and to take care of the innocent and the vulnerable, not to exploit and slaughter them because you get some form of pleasure from it. I wouldn't say that. First of all, I don't really align with any sort of gender roles, but even if there were certain gender roles you would align with, I don't think being manly or masculine aligns with the idea of exploiting and slaughtering innocent individuals. I don't think that in any way that makes you strong or better or in any way. So, be strong and consider choices. Be smart and think for yourself. Challenge your own preconceptions, your own beliefs. Don't just trust everything everybody's saying to you. Yeah, Roy asked them, it makes you a coward. Exactly. It makes you a coward. Well said. Ship guy says, JB says, debate me. Well, JB, you can contact me on Instagram and I will debate you. I'm not going to debate you by me talking and you writing. That's not going to work out. So, but I will debate you if you contact me on Instagram. We can set up and we can set up a debate, no problem. Hi, you want to try the social experiment?
Sure.
I just ask you some questions, that's it. You okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Okay, sure.
What's your name?
Robin?
Robin, nice to meet you. I'm Chip.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Where are you from?
Amsterdam.
Ah, Amsterdam, okay. I live in Amsterdam. I'm originally from Romania, but okay. So let me ask you, Robin, how do you feel about animals?
Animals?
Yeah.
Oh, I love animals.
You love animals. Do you think animals are innocent or vulnerable?
Definitely, yeah.
Do you think we should be taking care of animals or protecting them, or do you think we should be exploiting and killing them?
I think we should care for them.
We should be caring.
We
for
should
them.
not exploit them at all. No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Okay, so is it safe to assume that you're against animal exploitation?
Definitely, yes.
Do you consume animal products? This isn't a gotcha or something, or I'm not judging. I'm just.
No.
No, you don't.
No,
consume
no,
animal
I
products?
don't.
Are you vegan?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can admit something actually.
yeah, tell me.
Because I'm a big fan, and I think I just wanted to stop here and to say
Oh,
thank
okay.
you for your good work.
Oh, well, thank you
'Cause
for
I've
being
been-
here, Robin. That's awesome.
I was just trying to be also experiencing this because
Yeah,
I've seen this on YouTube, and
Yeah.
I'm also a member of your channel.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I just
Robin.
wanted to
That's
say
awesome. Thank you so much.
hello, and I just wanted to support you because I couldn't do this. I saw you also on
Yeah.
Friday. You
Yeah.
were there. Well, it was nice weather now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's amazing what you do. I think it's really,
Thank you.
really good job. So
Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
I've
That's
been
awesome.
vegan for 5 years.
5
and
years. Oh, that's impressive.
It's also nice to have a little chat with you because
Yeah.
I'm a bit starved.
Yeah.
Because there are not that many people that are vegan in my surroundings.
Oh,
you know?
I get that. Yeah.
You know, on my work, I got colleagues that I talk about this stuff
Yeah.
sometimes, and they're like, "We get it, but it's too difficult, and we can't do it, and I need B12, and all those excuses that you also mentioned in your
Yeah.
show.
They always
It's just
bring it up.
horrible. So it's nice to also meet another vegan for the first time in
Yeah.
a long time, actually, because
Yeah.
most people are like, well, I want to cut down, and just like you said, I
Yeah.
mean, that one animal that you kill, that's
Yeah.
already enough to be totally against, of course. So that's my opinion. So, and your opinion as well. So,
Yeah.
how did you start this? When did you start this?
Doing activism, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Because you told
Almost
on
2
your show
years.
you're 3 years
Yeah.
vegan now.
Yeah.
I'm 5 actually.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
I started around COVID.
Yeah.
And how did that happen?
So for me,
I
it
was
happened
curious.
because, as you said, as a vegan, when you become vegan, you're kind of starving, as you said, because you're surrounded by a lot of people who are not vegan.
But how did you turn vegan?
I
Why was
I
that?
watched the Joey Carbstrong video.
Joey Carbstrong.
yeah.
That's what happened to me as
Oh,
well.
also, wow, that's amazing.
Why aren't you vegan yet? Something like that.
yeah,
The
yeah.
talks that he does. And
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just at some point, I don't know, something. I had to watch multiple videos, not just one. And at some point, something clicked in my head, and I was like, well, shit, I can't justify it. I gotta go vegan
Exactly,
now.
yeah.
In order to be logical, rational, and live up to my values, I gotta be vegan. Otherwise, somewhere it would be missing. So,
Just
okay.
like what I thought. Before I became vegan, I was also like already in my head, like I cannot really justify this, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I didn't buy it anymore, but I still ate it in restaurants and stuff. I thought I was gonna really miss it a lot. That
Yeah.
was the big thing, and it was gonna be difficult. I have to be some alternative hippie and make my own soy milk and stuff like that. But it's so available now. It's even in the Albert Heijn here. I mean, there's more vegetarian and vegan stuff than the meat section.
It is.
in
It is
some
insane
Albert Heijn. So
nowadays,
it's so
yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt better ever. And I never tried, or I never missed the food that I thought that I was gonna miss. So it's really, I tell people and they're like, oh yeah, but it's still difficult for them, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's more or less for most people. It's more or less like this. Change just seems difficult when you're on one side of it, but after you do it, it's like it's so easy. It's just I don't know. I never see it. I saw it as a difficult thing, and even when I realized that I need to change, I didn't think it was gonna be difficult. I just did it. It's just like when you need to do something, you just need to do it. And I don't know. I keep challenging people to question their own values, but not everybody wants to do that.
No, they're a bit dishonest with themselves, I
Yeah,
think. That's
exactly.
true, because most people think like us, but they just don't act like it somehow, because it's been normalized and tradition, all the things that you say in your
Yeah.
videos as well. It's
Yeah.
it's so true. So, well, I just wanted to stop by and tell you good job. And,
Hey, thank you so
and
much,
thank you
man.
for this, because I couldn't really do this. Because I also, what I wanted to say, what changed me was the Land of Hope and Glory documentary
Oh,
from Ed
interesting.
Winters. Do you know
Okay.
that?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's by him, or at least he said something about it. I also support him and
Yeah.
got his books. He got 2 books. Huh?
Yeah, I also have
It's
his
really,
books.
yeah, it's
he's a good-
fantastic.
Yeah.
He's really good, I think. So,
Yeah.
and Joey also.
Yeah.
He's a bit harsher, I think, but
Yeah.
I like that as well. So.
Yeah. To each their own. I feel like for every person out there, there's a animal rights activist who speaks their language.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ed is he's really intellectual and everything. He
Yeah.
knows everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He just reads all those reports that are coming out, and he knows everything. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to go again. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you and good
Hey,
job.
Well,
and
thank you for being
keep
a
up the
member,
good
and
work.
thank you for coming
no
here. Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
So,
It's always nice to hear that somebody enjoys what I do. So yeah, that's always.
it doesn't happen that much, huh?
No,
Most
it doesn't
people are a
happen
bit
that
like,
much, no.
oh, no, we'll see, and then you
Yeah.
give them some information. I always wonder, will they follow up to it? Does it ever happen that they come back a few weeks later and say, oh, I checked it out and
No, not really. But what does
Okay.
happen is that I have statistics. So the link that I give them has I have statistics being formed from those, and I do see that there's a lot of people who open it up, and there's a lot of people who I don't know specifically which person, but there's people who open it up, and there's people who open up Challenge 22. There's people who open up all these other things. So I like to think that if they open up Challenge 22, that means that they already must be interested or something.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
so,
And you're
yeah.
planting seeds. So who
Exactly.
knows in the long run?
That's what we want. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, well, have a good day.
Have a good
okay,
one.
and
Yeah.
thank you again, and I'll see you on the channel.
Yeah. See you. Ciao. Oh, it's always nice to meet the little fan. Hey. You guys want to try the social experiment? Hey, Martin. What's your name? Are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure.
What's your name?
My name is Erwin,
Edwin. Nice to meet you. Where are you from, Edwin?
Amsterdam.
Ah, Amsterdam also. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I live in Amsterdam, but I'm from Romania. So let me ask you, Edwin, how do you feel about animals?
I feel very strongly about animals. I
In-
like a lot of them.
You like a lot of them. Okay, okay. Do you think animals are innocent?
No,
No?
no, not at all.
No? How do you see them? Do you see them as vulnerable, as innocent, or how do you see them?
All beasts kill each other, or
Yeah.
try to take territory of each other. So they're not so innocent as they look. No.
But there's also a lot of animals that don't do that, right? Like you're talking about the carnivorous animals, but most animals are not carnivorous, right?
Yeah, or territory,
Yeah.
territorial, or not every animal, of course, but it's always eat or be eaten.
Well, no. Herbivorous animals do not eat or are eaten.
Oh, but they destroy grasslands or tree barks.
I mean, they survive, right? They do what they have to do, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, same as the carnivore.
Same as the carnivore, same as us, right? At the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the reason why I ask if they're innocent or if they're do you think they're defenseless in our when it comes to them in relation to us? Do you think we have power over them?
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
sure.
much all over all the animals, right?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it would be fair for us to exploit and slaughter them for just because we can, just because we have power over them?
No.
No.
I think no good idea. No.
But do you think we do that?
Yeah, we actually do, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. In the cases of like the animals that we farm for food, for clothing, do you think we're using them essentially for something that is essentially optional to us, just because we want to?
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's terrible. So
Yes.
understanding that it's when you say that it's terrible, that just makes me think that you are in a sense against it, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm still a carnivore, but
Yeah.
I eat a lot less meat than before. Yeah.
So how do you leverage that, right? Because like if you think it's horrible what we do to them, then paying for it for somebody to do this to them kind of goes against your own values, huh?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
So what is keeping you from like living up to your own values and going vegan?
Yeah, almost. I just do a few times a week,
Yeah.
and the rest I do all vegan. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
But do you think that those few times that you do it per week to those animals that are slaughtered on your behalf, do you think they care that you do it once or twice a week, or do you think that they care that you did it that one time that we got them into a slaughterhouse?
Yeah. This is a dilemma.
Yeah.
It's a dilemma.
Because if we think from
But
their
I
perspective,
not feel very guilty when I eat
Yeah.
a hamburger. No.
I mean, my intent is not necessarily to make you feel guilty. My intent is to get you to think a little bit from their perspective, right? Like, because if you think from their perspective, even exploiting and slaughtering one innocent animal is still kind of messed up, right?
A bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah. So if you acknowledge that you have other alternatives and you seem to do it almost all the time, why not go it all the time and never exploit any animals again?
Because it's so tasty. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you think that the sensory pleasure, the taste, should dictate what you can do to an animal or not?
No.
No.
I think not, but yeah, this is the same story. Sometimes everything you have to take, you know.
What do you mean?
Yeah, if you add avocado, they also need to make an avocado farm. If you know, it's a give and take everything you do.
I'll acknowledge that there's exploitation behind everything we buy, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
But animal agriculture, or products coming from animal agriculture, are dependent on animal exploitation. So in a sense, all these other systems where we're buying other products, we can improve on them, right? Like let's assume when you're buying a cloth or a phone where there's sweatshop workers that are children.
Yeah.
If we were to boycott that and not buy phones, that sweatshop will just move and manufacture something else. And thus the child labor would still continue. You see, child labor isn't a problem because of the demand. Child labor is a problem because it's of the rules in those countries or stuff like that, right? Like they can be addressed. Whereas animal agriculture is a problem because of demand, because it's an industry that depends on exploiting animals. So if you choose to not participate in it anymore, the industry does shrink, even if it's just a little bit, right?
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I not try to eat less.
Yeah.
Just a few times a week. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you, how many more animals should be exploited on your behalf before you make a change and go vegan completely?
Oh yeah. Then you have to make a calculation.
But why? How many do you want?
No, I want. Yeah, no, a few of course, because yeah.
You want some animals to be exploited for you?
Yeah.
Is that what you want, really?
Actually, yeah, because I choose to eat, then you want to exploit.
But is that what you want, or is that a justification for you to continue eating what you want?
Yeah, this is nature, son. Yeah.
I mean, it's not nature for animals to be brought up to existence for only to be exploited. No animal in nature brings up a different species only to exploit them and then slaughter them when we can no longer exploit them.
I think difficult question, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you want to drink milk, you have to need a cow. And
But
if
cows,
you have a cow,
what has to happen to cows in order to produce milk?
yeah, then slaughter.
Well, they have to have babies, right?
Yeah,
Do you think they decide to have babies on their own when they want to, or do you think farmers decide for them?
the farmers? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're forcefully impregnated.
Yeah.
If we did that to a human being, would that be nice?
No, it would not.
Is
No.
it nice that we do it to them?
No, I think the rules should change. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exploited. Yeah.
Yeah.
And biofarms are a lot better, but still
Well, they
exploit
do the
them.
same thing, yeah.
They still exploit.
Yeah. I actually went to a biofarm where they take egg-laying chickens, they were egg-laying chickens, and whenever the chicken no longer lays an egg every day, they send them to a slaughter. And I went with an organization that buys the chickens off of them, and then we give them to sanctuaries. And what happens is when the farmer gave us the chickens that we bought, he treated them literally like objects. He grabbed them by the feet, and as he gave them to us, he broke their feet. He broke their legs. Yeah. So none of these farmers care about their animals, and I don't think it's necessarily that they do it intentionally. They don't care. I think it's a coping mechanism. You know, they have to not care about them because you can't get attached. So in essence, what happens as a consequence is that these animals get treated like objects at the end of the day, and we wouldn't want that to happen to any human being or any animal at the end of the day, right?
At the end of the day, no.
No. So you just got to ask yourself where your values lie, because I know that you say you reduce it and you do it once or twice per week, but even that once or twice a week, you're still like, imagine me saying, well, I only beat my wife once or twice a week. You know, it's like still messed up, you know?
That's messed up. Yeah. That's still messed up.
It's still messed up. It's better than if I were to do it every day, but it's still messed up. You see what I mean? Yeah. So,
thank you, man.
I know. It's not an easy job. I'll just give you one card. I urge you to watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. You just gotta scan that QR code.
Yeah, I will.
And I mean, you already know how to go vegan, so you don't need more. But you have several other resources there. Okay?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Have a good one. Oh, you need to access that? Yeah, give me a second. I have to move. Sorry, everybody, we had to move a little bit because there was somebody who needed to do some work here. Give me 1 second, I have to put everything back. Okay, we are back. I hope you guys are enjoying the conversations we're having. And yeah, we're doing this. Yeah, Guns and Magnolia says, "I love vegan steak." There you go. You don't need to be exploiting any animals to have a great meal and a great enjoyment of it, right? Pat Riley asks, "Can vegan eat soy? Is soy a product of animal exploitation?" Pat. Chip, if I study nutrition, will you help me with the hard parts? I can try, Carrie, to help you with the hard parts, yeah. Actually, but I'll mention it on today's Skystream, yeah. What is plant-based salmon? That doesn't make sense. Well, plant-based salmon, JB, is just a product that is made from plants that's made to replicate the taste and texture of salmon. And I'm assuming it's usually smoked salmon. So it is, in a sense, a plant-based product that you can choose. If you really have difficulty giving up salmon, then you can choose that. It probably tastes a little bit different, but you know, at the end of the day, you still have something that tastes similar enough, and you just got to ask yourself again where your values lie. Do your values say that, well, a little bit of a taste difference is okay to exploit and slaughter animals? Is it okay to put a knife through the throat of an animal because there's a little bit of a taste difference for 10 minutes out of your life? I don't know, man. 10 minutes out of your life. It's literally, that's what a dinner or a lunch is. And by the way, fish are probably one of the worst persecuted animals in the world because, you know, fish are usually, they are killed by asphyxiation. They get taken out of their natural environment and they asphyxiate to death. Imagine asphyxiating to death. That is insanely bad. And while we as humans see fishing as a recreational exercise, even as a catch and release thing where you're like breaking their lip just so that you have some exercise or whatever it is, it's kind of insane, you know? So I don't know, I urge you to reconsider all your choices and consider all the victims behind your choices. Again, I keep saying it because, you know, it's important. And yeah, as James says, fish are incredibly intelligent. And to the people, let's do a little bit of an experiment here in the chat, shall we? All of you non-vegans who like to watch this and say, well, I eat this, I do that, I eat this, I enjoy that. Can you just for a second formulate your sentences by referencing the victims and not what you enjoy? Can you for a second say, instead of I like steak, say that I like to pay for cows to have a knife put to their throat so that I get 10 minutes of pleasure out of their flesh? Can we do that? Let's try that experiment. Just so that you know what exactly it is that you like, right? Because that's what you're saying when you say that you like steak. You're saying literally that you like the exploitation, abuse, and slaughter that those animals go through. So let's be completists. Let's say exactly what it is. Because to all of you watching who are not vegan and are assuming that I'm just here against your choices to eat whatever it is that you want to eat. No. It's not about that. It's about me showing you a different perspective, the perspective of the victims, the perspective of animals, and explaining to you that you do have alternatives and you can always choose something else. That's literally what it is. So yeah, let's do this experiment. So Brad Bitt asks, how do you feel about hemp oil? Brad Bitt, I am not going to reply to you until you formulate it the way I asked you to formulate it. So how do I feel about an innocent harp being slaughtered and their flesh being used for you to create some oil that you don't really need but you like? How do I feel about that? Formulate it that way and then I'll reply. Okay? Let's just try things out. Yeah, Brad Pitt, as I say, formulate it the right way and I'll interact with you. JB says, Chip, you are passive aggressive. I can definitely understand why you would see it that from your perspective, because I don't allow any nonsense, or I ask you to be completist and say exactly what it is that you like. Yeah, so I can understand why you would say that is that way. But maybe you just have to look at at the bigger picture a little bit and think that maybe I'm just trying to show you something, to show you a different perspective. And only if you actually engage with it and actually try to see that different perspective, you will actually understand where I'm coming from. Otherwise, if you're not trying to understand where I'm coming from, but rather you're just here to say your things, then you are welcome to go away also. We're here to change minds, we're here to change perspectives, to have positive discourse, and if you don't want to do that, nobody's asking you to be here. I'm just saying. Why are you torturing seeds? By crushing them to produce oils. Okay, so let's nip this in the bud once and for all. Plants are not sentient. Plants do not feel pain, and plants do not have a consciousness, because all of these feelings of pain, consciousness, and sentience are emerging properties of brains and central nervous systems. Plants have neither. But let's assume that you do think that plants have that, right? Because I'm assuming that somebody in the chat will say, like, look, there you go. Somebody will say, prove that, or not true, or that's not true. Plants scream. I heard it in an article. Did I read the article that it was actually talking about cavitation, and that's simply a plant expulging air, much like a balloon would? Yeah, I did not read that article. I just read the title of the article, and therefore I assumed that plants are sentient because the title of the article said plants scream. Either way, let's assume you would think that plants are sentient or that they can scream. It would still be morally preferable to kill as little plants as possible then in that situation, right? And how do you think you kill less plants? Do you think you kill more plants when you consume animal products, or do you think you kill less plants when you consume more animal products? Because an animal is also fed plants, by the way, right? To get to their weight, they need a certain amount of calories to build that muscle, to build their body, and all of those calories that they're eating, you could have otherwise eaten yourself, because all of those calories get literally translated into far less calories and far less protein than you would have gotten if you had just eaten the plants yourself. And I know the next thing somebody will say will be, well, what are you talking about? Cows eat grass. I eat 100% grass-fed or something like that. Well, no, you don't. Cows are fed soy and corn and alfalfa, soy and corn. Most of the soy and the corn is actually grown, most of the soy and corn grown for food is actually grown for animal feed. So get your facts a little bit straight and realize that it's different. And also, again, there's a difference between needing to kill to survive, right? Like you kill plants because you need to do it to survive. You don't exploit plants, you kill them. And two, there's a difference between doing that because you enjoy the taste or because you fancy the product that you get out of it. There's a difference. There's a morally it's a difference. It's just like if I drive my car and I accidentally hit somebody with my car, that person is dead, of course. It's bad. But if I drive my car and I intentionally ran over somebody, there is a difference. Have I committed an immoral act when I accidentally ran over somebody with my car? No, I didn't. Have I committed an immoral act when I plunged into that person? Yes, I did. So there's a difference. Intent will matter. So when your intent is to exploit and slaughter an innocent sentient being, it is different. JB, I understand you might feel it's being disrespectful, but you are also not engaging how I asked you to engage with it. So there you go. Your tone is unneeded. Oh, tone policing, are we now? Are we tone policing me? Is that it? Oh, yeah. I would say, you know what? If I were to, in front of me, there was a person who chooses to run their car over somebody, I would say you can have whatever tone you have with them because they intentionally kill somebody. But hey, I'm still trying to be respectful towards you, and perhaps you trying to read my tone or tone policing me is nothing more than you projecting your own emotions or your own insecurities towards this whole topic onto me and my tone. You don't like hearing the truth, do you? That's okay. I will continue saying it. Self-entitled and liar. So I'm first of all, I'm self, and then I'm entitled, and then I'm a liar. That's funny. So let's see. I'm a self. Yes, I am a self, just like you are a self. Then what? Am I entitled? I would say anybody who thinks that they have the right to exploit and slaughter an innocent being is far more entitled than somebody who says they don't have that right. And I say we don't have that right to exploit and slaughter innocent sentient beings. I would say you are far more entitled, right? But yeah, I guess it's a matter of perspective. And liar. What is it that I've been lying about? Is it just that you think that if you say something long enough, it will become true? Because it won't. I haven't been lying here. As I've kept saying throughout this whole stream, you have to, you should fact check everything that I'm saying. Fact check it, look up the sources. Don't just trust me, right? We're here to get you to think a little bit, not to get you to listen to yet another person say something. Hey, Lewis is here. Hey, Lewis. Why can't birds stop eating bugs and go vegan? I don't think birds know that they have that alternative to go vegan, do they? I would say a lot of animals are mostly just like children, right? Would you blame a child for doing something wrong? Would you blame a child for, I don't know, shitting on a pan? I don't even know what to give you as an example. For doing something that you would think it's wrong. No, you wouldn't, because if that child doesn't know that something is wrong, then how would they know it, right? It's the same. If an animal doesn't know that is wrong, how would they know? You know it's wrong. You know it's not wrong to exploit and slaughter innocent sentient beings when you have alternatives. Taste buddy, you didn't listen to me, taste buddy. I see that. You didn't listen to me. That's okay. You can rewind and re-listen to what I've said just now. I'm not going to repeat my answer. There you go. Roy Astem explained it to you in a sentence. Birds are not moral agents. Okay, let's focus on getting some conversations here. What inconsistency are you highlighting, Taste Buddy? You said you're highlighting my inconsistency. Please name exactly which inconsistent. Where am I being inconsistent? I would love to know because I don't want to be inconsistent. You know, I'm not here. Literally, the only reason why I went vegan is because that is the morally consistent view according to my own values. You want to try a social experiment? Guys, I only see 3 comments. 3, maybe 4. That's how the app works. So if I'm not looking at it, the inconsistency that every life form has sentience. Well, that's not true. Not every life form has sentience. What the hell? That is not true 100%. And yes, I do have several studies to show that. I have several studies and several debunkings. If you claim that they're studies, I have several debunkings also of that, coming from biologists. Is that biologists? Sorry, that's how you read it. You want to try a social experiment? You guys want to try a social experiment? I'm not going to go into abortion today. I'm just not. I've spoken so much about it. I think you guys can formulate an opinion. If you want me to tell you whether I think abortion is moral or not, let me put it this. Okay, fuck it. I'll go into it. Why not? I always say I'm not going to go into it. There you go. I'll go into it again. It's pretty simple, really. Is abortion moral or not? I would say once the baby is sentient, abortion can theoretically be immoral. But the motivation behind it does matter, right? Like if you just get an abortion because you want to get an abortion and the fetus has become sentient, then I think it would be immoral for you to get an abortion. If, however, your life depends on it, or in situations where you require an abortion, then it is not immoral. It's as simple as that. Before sentience, yeah, you should be allowed to get an abortion if you want to. It's the same thing. It doesn't really matter. It's just a clump of cells at the end of the day. If they're not sentient, they're really literally just a clump of cells. That's all they are. Whether or not governments should legalize, you want to try a social experiment? Should legalize or illegalize abortion has nothing to do with its moral value system or not. Governments should not interfere with anybody's body autonomy. Full stop. So abortion should absolutely 100% never be legal. However, the doctors performing abortion should have ethical board, a moral system that they have to follow. Like I said, after sentience, they should only perform this procedure if it's absolutely required, and only after a board review or something. But before sentience, they should just do the procedure. Why not? Because before sentience doesn't really matter. Again, they're just a clump of cells. So there you go. That's my view on abortion, and it is morally consistent with my own view, because my morality says that it's wrong to exploit or slaughter innocent, sentient beings. There you go. And by the way, I've been thinking about this relationship that it is with animals also, right? It's a little bit complex, but oh, wait, somebody's coming in. You guys want to try the social experiment? Yes, sure. Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Hi. Hello.
Can you come a little bit closer so that you're in view? What are your names?
Kuba.
Kuba, nice to meet you. I'm Chip.
Hi, Martyna.
Martina.
Victoria.
Victoria. Where are you guys from?
Poland.
Poland. Okay, nice. Okay, so let me ask you, how do you feel about animals?
I like them.
You like
Yes.
them? How do you feel about animals?
Yeah, I think animals are friends.
Are friends?
Yes.
I have a cat, so I love animals.
Okay. Do you think animals are worthy of moral consideration? And by that, I think that means that we shouldn't harm them unless we absolutely need to.
I think yes.
Yeah, right?
Well, I mean, that's actually something I've been struggling with
Yeah.
considering, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. Because on one hand, I'm not vegetarian.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when I like see the social campaigns or something, I'm considering it more and more. But I think it's hard sometimes to change the way you were brought up with, because I was raised like my family had a farm, so I was on one hand I was brought up with playing with animals, but on the other hand I saw very drastic things also
Yeah.
happening, and this was like this is how it used to be with my family. Like we raise animals in order to provide for living,
Yeah.
so it's a harsh topic.
Yeah. I love that you gave such a complete answer. And how do you feel? We'll come
Sorry,
back to that.
sorry.
No worries, that's good. That's good.
I don't know what to say more because my friend, I think, said a lot and
So do you think animals deserve moral consideration?
co znaczy consideration?
No, żeby myśleć na temat tego po prostu. Czy to jest, wiesz,
Okay.
czy to jest moralne.
It means like, should you harm them if you don't need to?
No, of course
No,
not.
no, of course not. Okay. Well, it seems like your values are all kind of in line. But you touched upon it. The reason why I'm sitting here is because I also want to talk about the animals that because a lot of the times when we think about animals, we think about our pets or animals that we have a relationship with. But we also consider the other animals, right? The animals that end up on our plate, the animals that end up us wearing their skin or stuff like that, right? Do you think all these animals, they deserve also moral consideration? What do you think?
I can tell because my family, my great grandfather has a farm of fox
Yeah.
for skins, and
Really?
yes,
I didn't know that.
my grandfather Lis, because my we are from Poland.
Yeah.
My surname is Lis.
Yeah.
Lis means fox, and this is kind of crazy, but for me it's something awful, and I can't get skin of any animal, not
They're skinned alive.
yes, and
Awful.
I also ride horses, and eating meat of horse is kind of disgusting for me, and this is our friend, and for me it's non-acceptable.
So by the way, just to make things clear, I'm not here to judge anybody. I used to be part of this thing too. I used to participate. I used to consume animal products also, right? I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help you change your mind, to help you look into maybe understand a little bit of a different perspective, right? That's why I like to bring up animals, and a lot of the times we think about these animals that we like, and then I try to bring it to the animals that we usually just consider. And as you said, right, for clothing, it's insane that we do this to them. But do you think that if we do it for food, isn't it just as insane because we have other alternatives anyway?
Yes, because I'm not vegetarian. I try sometimes, and for me it's possible to be. And I think the most cruel thing is farm of animals, like they are in jak są klatki? Cages,
Cages,
yes,
yeah.
and they are like the most the worst prisoners, human who did very worse things. It's better traded than a harmless animal.
100%. Yeah, well said, 100%. And you know what? Just to put things into perspective, what we're talking about, let's speak about dairy cows, right? Dairy cows are animals that we think we have the symbiotic relationship with, right? We think we give them food and they give us food back, right? But let's just start a little bit. I'll just explain what dairy cows go through, and I want your opinions, and that's it. Then you maybe we can have a conversation if you want longer, but I don't want to keep it for too long if you don't want to stay for too long, okay? Yeah, I just want to be clear about. I respect your time also in that sense. So, why do you think cows produce milk?
You mean the
To feed
yeah.
their calves.
To feed their babies, to feed their calves, yeah. So, do you think that they decide on their own when they want to get pregnant, or that farmers decide for them?
I mean, I know that's decided by farmer when they are getting pregnant,
Yeah.
since probably most of the cheese and dairy products that we are using today are from massive production. not
Well,
from
on
the-
small farms also, right? Do you
I
think
mean,
on small
yeah,
farms is any different?
I mean, it was the same for the, like, I don't know how much we are domesticating these animals, but I think
I
it
mean-
began with the first domesticated cow to breed it when it was needed for the farmer.
Yeah, exactly. So we breed them. We basically forcefully impregnate them, right? The procedure goes like I can show you on video if you want to see it. It's literally they have this giant glove. They put the glove. They put their hand in their anus. They hold their cervix, and they inject bull semen in their vagina. That's standard practice. My sister's a veterinarian and she did it, so it sucks. And when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
Probably they are going for the meat.
For
the meat. Like the young cows and the young lambs are, let's say, we can call it delicacy, because the meat is supposed to be more tender than the grown-up cow.
Yeah.
So most of them are going for slaughter, and maybe some of them are going for the further dairy production processes.
Yeah. So actually, before we dive into that, if we did forceful impregnation to a human, what would we call it?
Right?
Yeah, right. So it's insane that we don't consider it also for animals the same, but we give it different terms. Anyway, yeah. So what happens to the babies is the first thing that happens in dairy production is the babies are separated from their mothers so that they don't drink their mother's milk, or so that the farmer can control how much milk they drink. Because for them, they sell the milk. The milk is the product that they make as a business, right? So whether it's a small farm, large farm, everywhere, they separate them. And some farms, they feed them back some of the milk that they milk from the mother. Most of them just feed them like a formula thing. Yeah. If they're born male, they don't produce milk, so slaughtered. Yeah, exactly. And if they're female, they suffer the same fate as their mother. Every year they get raped. Every year they have their babies stolen from them, and then throughout the year they get exploited for their milk. And when the farmer can no longer impregnate them, they kill them. And that usually happens. Nobody was made to be impregnated like this repeatedly, so that usually happens around 6 to 8 years, and they can live up to 24 years. So at a quarter of their lifespan, they're sent to a slaughter just because they can no longer be impregnated. And throughout their life, all they've experienced was rape, baby stolen, and exploitation. Is this something that is in line with your values?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I mean, it's not in line with my values, right? But I'm not gonna lie, I'm eating cheese and drink milk, so
Yeah, that's okay, but like, it's okay, like what you did in the past is the past, right? My question is, going forward, how can you morally justify paying for this, right? How can you say, well, I want to get cheese, therefore I will pay for cows to get raped, have their babies stolen, and all this stuff?
this is something we just don't consider when we are in a supermarket, which does not, like, the way we pack and sell cheese, it does not say. So yeah, this product is
Sadly so.
No, it does not explain how this product was developed.
No,
Where it
because
does
they
from,
have-
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Even if it's like it might just say ecologic or something like this, but that does not mean anything, basically.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. So the reality is, yes, these industries, they have a financial incentive to not show you any of this. They do it behind closed doors, and you only see the resulting product, and the resulting product, they put a happy animal on it. They slap a nice sticker on it, and you think, oh, look at that, it's so clean and so nice, just so that you don't think about the horrors that went through. But do you think that we as individuals, like now that you learn about it, don't you think you have a moral responsibility to act and to not not participate in this and to, I don't know, not buy cheese, not buy dairy products and animal products.
Well, I mean, I guess we like all. I know about you, but you said you tried go vegan, right? I tried to stop eating meat as the first step, and I went on for a couple of months, and then I don't know, something happened. I went just back because I guess my body, through all these years of being non-vegetarian, just kind of could not convert. Let's say it was. I mean, it's not like I was craving meat or something. It's just like I was not feeling as usual.
Yeah,
Which maybe, I don't know, I didn't even give it time to, I don't know, go to the doctor or something because I was
there you go.
a little bit younger
Yeah.
to think about it even. It was just an experiment for me, but then I went back and yeah.
And I'll let you to know also that doctors in most countries, I don't know how it is in Poland, but in Netherlands as well as US as well as Romania, because I come from Romania.
Yeah, I was wondering.
yeah, I come from Romania. So also there, the doctors don't have nutritional training, right? So a doctor might tell you, well, if you're low in iron, just eat some meat. That's what they'll tell you, because they don't really know what to tell you anything otherwise.
I think if you go to the doctor in Poland, they would recommend you not to be vegan.
I mean,
It's something like
there
that,
is
yeah.
meat, but they are also making you a diet with much more elements, because my mother actually suffers from the lack of iron. So she was prescribed, first of all, pills, and then also to eat meat, but the vegetables that consist of the iron.
Yeah. So I'm actually yesterday I had my final exam as a certified nutritionist. I'll find out if I pass or not in a couple of weeks. But yeah, there you go. I finished, so I think I'll be there. But I can tell you that we don't need any animal products. It's true that we live kind of in a world where you kind of have to learn how to navigate being a vegan or a plant-based person in this world. But you can accomplish it regardless if you have.
It's not that easy because when you enter some place where you go to buy food products, it screams not vegan.
Yeah.
It's like usually when I go to supermarket, and sometimes I go like shopping and I think, okay, maybe I can try to avoid meat at some point. Not that easy when you don't know what to eat, what to buy, what to shop for, and how to organize yourself in the kitchen, because I cook for myself a lot. I don't dine out. I usually cook, and I don't know. I feel like whenever I buy too many vegetables, I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to store them to keep them fresh for long enough, because also I'm a very poor student.
No, I get that. So
you know, sometimes it's hard to organize yourself if you don't know.
If I give you the resources that will help you with that, right? Let's assume I give you absolutely all the help you need with that, like with managing your diet, with helping your diet, and being healthy on a plant-based diet, right? Because a lot of the times the issue with most people who try to go vegan, as you say, they actually try to go plant-based because being vegan literally is about the animals, not about diets or anything else. But a lot of people who do try that, they usually not eat enough or not eat varied enough, or they end up eating too many vegetables, not enough grains and other
My
protein.
mother and my sister are both vegan.
Yeah.
No, vegetarian. Sorry, vegetarian. And they both struggle with some health problems. Because of lack of certain things, because they had to learn their way around it.
Yeah.
And I think that they are still
I can
trying to navigate somehow.
I can give you all the resources for that, right? But I wanna see if what is it like. Assuming you have all the resources, assuming you have this knowledge of it, would you see it as a moral obligation to go vegan?
I would try. I would give it a shot.
Yeah. But do you think it is something like? Do you think? Let me put it this way. Do you think you have the right to oppress animals?
Well, we don't.
We don't, right?
We don't, but we do that because we don't think about it.
Yeah.
'Cause we are not the ones who are in the slaughterhouses.
100%. But still, we are the ones who are causing animals to go into
Of course.
slaughterhouses.
I mean, where there's
Demand.
then you have.
Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate saying that. Like, I'll give you resources, but I just want to see this will from you, right? Because resources, you can take them and you can put them on the side, or you can take them and actually use them. But if I give resources, I really want the person to use them, right? So what is it that you guys want? I understand both of you understand, like you understand you would try it, which I appreciate. How about you? Do you want to try going vegan if I give you the resources required?
Maybe.
Like, where do your values sit? Do you think it's okay to exploit and slaughter innocent animals?
No, of course not.
So then you should go vegan. Then I see it. Otherwise, there's a contradiction there, right? Because if you have the resources that you can live and thrive without ever needing an animal product, then when you choose to buy an animal product, you are going against this value of saying that it's okay to exploit and slaughter animals. That it's not okay, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to live up to your own values, or?
That's a good point.
You can think about it. I'll ask you also.
It's kind of
I have a kind of non-topic.
Yeah.
Topic, but non the question, non
Sure.
answer to your question. I have two questions actually.
Sure.
Because I've been recently thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, is honey vegan? Like, how
No,
do you
it's
see?
not.
It's not.
No, because bees are also sentient. I don't know if you've noticed, but bees, they
Because they don't eat. They don't need the honey. I think.
so
I
bee-
don't know the full cycle of
So
bees.
the
I don't know
reason,
much
so the
about
reason
it,
why
but-
bees make honey is to survive during winter, right? So they grab pollen, then they puke, and they make honey out of it. I don't know exactly the biological process to that, or how that happens, but I can tell you that in honey production, what they do is they also forcefully impregnate the queen bees, which is insane to me. Like you
But
can
then
check out
we are
videos
talking
online.
Mass production, but let's say.
No, even on small farms, because even on small bee farms, they still have to get a queen bee. And when they get the queen bee, they get it from somebody who forcefully impregnated another queen bee to get them. And they clip their wings so they
in
don't
order
fly
to
away.
start the honey bee,
Yeah,
it's called, I guess.
yeah. And also, what happens during winter, in a lot of them, they kill them off. They kill the honey because bees make honey for the winter. So in the winter, a lot of farmers, they kill them off because they want to use the honey as well. So. But honey is also one of those things that is so easy to replace, right? Like you can just get maple
Yeah,
syrup.
I was
or-
just wondering
Yeah,
because I was
yeah.
like, I tried to Google it up, but the answer it came up with was not clear
Yeah.
enough for me. So
Yeah, it was also very unclear for me
It was
for
like
a long
a
time.
shady kind of area. Of,
For me, it was also a long time shady. I just erred on the side of caution. I was like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's better to be cautious
Yeah.
than sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think we need
the time.
to-
Yeah.
We need to go because we have a museum to see.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you for stopping by. Let me just give you cards. I'll give you 3 cards, okay? A card for each person. So here's one for you, one for you, and one for you. And let me explain really quick because I told you I'll give you resources. So one thing that I urge you to watch, it's either the Minion or the Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. These are 2 videos. When you scan this QR code, there will appear 2 it's called 3 movies because there's 3 videos that appear on top, and 2 of them are this, the Minion and the Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. The Minion shows you everything that happens in animal agriculture. But if you can't stomach it, because it is a little bit gruesome, I urge you still that you should watch it just to kind of see
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about. Watch the Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. It's right afterwards. That's not gruesome. It's just a guy holding a
It's a
speech.
speech.
Yeah, talking about what we do to them. And also there, a little bit further down the page, you have a thing called Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist. They send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan, all of it for free.
Nice.
You just gotta subscribe to it. That's it, okay?
Amazing.
Okay.
great.
Well,
Thank you.
think, and don't just think, but also make changes, okay? Because when you buy an animal product, one animal will go into a slaughterhouse on your behalf, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for having this conversation
Thank
with me.
you.
And
you.
make changes, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't
Have a
just
good
sleep
day.
on it. Have a good one. Bye. I did not get a good feeling from the guy. I thought it was kind of mediocre, mid conversation. But the 2 girls were, the girl in beige, I think, she really was, yeah. Martin says, great outreach. Thank you, Martin. Yeah. Vegan EM, that was great, Chef. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I like that. Ever since I started doing outreach, I started thinking that, our role is not to just inform, but also kind of push a little bit. But if we push a little bit too much, or if we inform a little bit too much, we remove the incentive for them to look it up, for them to inform themselves. So we always kind of have to find this middle ground with them. And yeah, that's always the where do you navigate? You want to try a social experiment? Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Sorry?
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Okay.
What's your name?
Yeah, My name is Julia.
Julia?
Yes, Julia.
Nice to meet you, Julia.
Nice to meet
You want to come and view? So, yeah, okay.
So what's the experiment?
By the way, you have a little bug here. I don't know if you noticed on your...
Oh my god, no.
Oh, wait.
Please take it.
So on your right here, yeah.
Okay. This is part of experiment?
It's not. I mean, I didn't put a bug there. There you go. Okay. So, speaking of bugs, how do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
You love animals?
Yep.
Why do you love animals? What is it about animals?
It's part of nature, right?
Yeah.
Part of life?
Do you think that we as humans have power over them?
No.
No? Do you think that we can... You don't think we have power over animals?
That's a good question. I think we, as a human in general, abuse our power.
Yeah, we do. But we do have power over them, right? Yeah.
I think we don't have to
Yeah.
have the power, but we decided that we do.
Yeah. So we have power over them, and as you say, we abuse the power over them. Do you think
Yeah.
it's okay to abuse our power over animals?
No, definitely not.
So do you think exploiting animals or slaughtering animals for our own pleasure, is that something that
For
is...
slaughtering for pleasure, definitely not.
No. What about if we're slaughtering them and getting a product that gives us pleasure?
Yeah. If you say it like this, of course it's not okay.
Yeah. So then I'm not judging, by the way, and this is a judgment-free zone right over here because I used to be part of it. But when you think about the animals that we force into slaughterhouses for us, the pigs, the chickens, the cows,
Yeah, I do not support this.
you do not support it.
Yeah.
Are you vegan?
I'm not vegan.
No.
No.
So you
No,
do
I'm
support
not
it in a
vegan,
sense.
but yeah, I cannot say that I'm supporting slaughtering animals
Yeah. So
or killing animals
Uh,
for pleasure, of course not.
I understand that.
It's like you also use quite strong words.
But so the reason, let me explain, because I'm not using strong words to trigger you in any way, right? I'm just trying to use the correct language, because the reality is when we buy an animal product, down the line one animal was exploited and slaughtered on our behalf, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
but we have other alternatives. So in general, when we choose. You have to focus on me, and you can look at them.
I'm
that's
very
okay.
curious.
Yeah, I'll give you my YouTube channel, and then you can check it out and see what people have said. So, when we buy an animal product, what happens is that an animal down the line, as I said, gets exploited and slaughtered for us. But also, we have alternatives. So when we make that choice,
That's true.
we choose it based on
I do
whether
agree,
it's something we
yeah.
like, or convenience, or I don't know, tradition, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So all of these are synonymous. Well, taste is the pleasure that I was mentioning, right? But everything else is convenience, pleasure.
Yeah.
It's
maybe
two sides to the
convenience
same
indeed.
coins, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So then we are doing this for our convenience. And where do you stand on this? Because it feels like your morals say that it's wrong to do so, but then you still participate in it, right? You just still support the system.
I think I still I'm still finding excuses for myself. But,
I like that you're being honest.
Yeah, definitely. I do support animals. Like I have a kid, and then he's almost 12 years old, and
Yeah.
he never been in a circus where there are animals. He never been to the zoo.
Yeah.
Because I think this is very cruel to hold animals in the zoo and just for people's
Because it's for entertainment, right?
yeah, this is definitely something that I do not support. And
But do you think is there any difference for doing all this to animals for entertainment versus doing it for taste pleasure?
I wouldn't also place everything in one place. But I do see your point.
Yeah.
I was just curious about the social experiment. It's really nice that you're talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between, I would say. I do understand it. I do support vegan people.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't have enough. It's a good question. Enough strength.
Yeah, fortitude.
Fortitude, definitely, just to take the fully vegan side. But I think at some point of my life I will be there. I probably have just a bit different problems in my life. Currently I'm going from the
Ukraine, yeah.
from the.
Nicely done. Was there a protest for Ukraine?
Sorry.
Was there a protest for Ukraine?
There is a meeting, like peaceful demonstration dedicated to the third anniversary of the war. I'm Ukrainian.
Yeah.
I came here because of the war, and then there are like hundreds of.
Let me show you something also. Come here. Look at this.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I also have it's my tiny bit of support for Ukraine.
My fellow Ukrainians are being killed and
Yeah.
the children being killed. So it's a bit different kind of problem.
But let me put it this way.
So I cannot. Yeah, this is not an excuse.
I understand
from-
your perspective, but like if you think about it, 3 times per day you do make a choice yourself, right? Nobody's forcing you to eat something.
Yeah.
So when you make this choice, like obviously you can occupy your mind and your time with whatever it is that you want to fight for, human rights, Ukraine, where it is a very important cause. But when you make these choices, I'm not advocating for you to sit here and like I do speak on their behalf, but rather when you make this choice, to rather just make the choice that doesn't exploit or slaughter an innocent animal. See what I mean? Like you can always make a choice that does not put an animal to a slaughterhouse and still focus on everything else.
Definitely, it's definitely true.
Yeah, and let me just to
But
put
what
things.
is the the purpose of experiment then?
My purpose is to get
Yeah.
people to go vegan, right?
Ah,
I'll be
okay.
honest with you. That's my purpose.
It's a good purpose.
Yeah, but let me explain. Let me just
Thanks for
explain
doing
before
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Let me just explain a little
Yeah.
bit, and then I'll let you go. So, about dairy cows, cows that we imagine that we have this symbiotic relationship with them, where we give them food and they give us food back, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens to them? Do you know why cows produce milk? That's all I want to go through, and then I'll let you go. Do you know why cows produce milk?
Sorry.
Do you know why cows produce milk?
Produce milk for how do you call it in English? For small cows.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
feed
For their
to
babies,
feed
yeah.
their babies.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think that they decide on their own when they get pregnant, or do you think farmers decide for them?
No, of course they farmers
Yeah. Yeah.
do decide for them.
So farmers, they forcefully impregnate them.
I know quite a lot about the topic, so you don't
Yeah.
have to convince me. I do
Yeah.
support fully. Maybe I'm not there yet. This is something that I'm not proud about.
Yeah.
But at some point of my life, I hope I will get there.
So here is the difficult
Yeah.
question then. How many more animals should be exploited on your behalf before you make a change?
On my behalf.
Yeah.
Oh, you really use very strong words, you know.
I
And
do,
then
but
with
I
this
have
kind
to,
of-
you know,
with
it's-
this
I'm
kind
speaking
of,
for them.
Yeah, I just think that this is a choice of every person.
Should it be a choice?
Well,
Do you think we have the right to oppress animals?
I think we do have choice,
But do you think we should have the right to oppress animals?
right? Yeah.
Because if you
Who
don't think we
decides
should, well, I'm just asking where your values stand, right? I'm not talking about legal
My
rights.
values, I already mentioned that my values are like I fully support you.
So then you shouldn't
do
think it's a
understand.
choice then, right? Because it
I think
contradicts
we-
the
we
idea
do,
of
but
a choice.
why then we still are like not vegan like fully all 8 billion people in the world, because we still have choice, right? And
I
then
think it's a bit more complicated than that,
it
why
is.
everybody's not
It is.
vegan, right?
It
Like
is.
there's obviously a lot of misinformation being spread by animal agriculture and all this, right? We're being sold a story
this
that
is a part of our evolution, right? We are coming from the place from the earth where we started. We weren't vegan, right? That's why we are here. That's why humanity is still here, right?
I mean, I don't know.
And then-
We evolved from
and that's why,
herbivores,
like,
but
yeah, and
but
I hope that we will evolve to the moment that we will not do that anymore, as a like whole humanity.
But do you understand? I understand that when we like, it's easy to talk about humanity and big systems because it sort of absolves us as the responsibility we have as individuals in the problem, right? But do you think you have a responsibility in this problem?
I do have, of course, definitely I do.
Yeah.
Everyone does, because and everyone
Yeah.
does have a choice.
Yeah. But,
Right.
and everybody does have a choice. I agree with that. But do you think everybody should have a choice?
Who decides that?
Well,
Should
I'm
or
just
shouldn't?
asking where do your values sit? Do you think people should have a choice according to your own values?
How can you I don't know, forbid that or
I'm
or
not
something?
asking about the
I mean,
practical implications
it's-
of it. I'm just curious about
Yeah.
the value system more than anything, right? Do you think that does your value
Should
system?
or shouldn't people still have a choice? And then, yeah, well, you cannot force anything, right? The only thing
cannot,
that-
but I
the
wanna-
only thing what you can do, you can only bring awareness and understanding and yeah, try to make people conscious of what they are doing, right? And then like at some point, I really hope that we will evolve to the moment that we will stop killing animals for food. But I do understand your purpose here.
I understand what you mean, but like
thank you very much for what
I'm
you
just
are
trying to
doing.
understand your values because
Yeah.
you say one thing, but then you do another.
I will,
you know?
yeah, because I'm trying to be honest. I am not vegan.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
But your
what
values
the-
say you should be vegan.
Maybe I will be.
Yeah.
But at this point of my life, yeah, I'm not there.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Just keep in mind that when you buy an animal product, like I'm not going to police you. You know, I'm a stranger to you.
Yeah,
You're
but
not going to
you're-
meet me
but
again.
you are like putting quite some pressure, and it's not really not comfortable to speak with you in this setup. So.
But like
It's a
look at
nice
it this way:
experiment, but,
in an
I
injust,
don't-
in a
yeah,
different
thank you.
injustice, would you want somebody to put pressure on the
In my-
person committing the
In my
injustice, or would you want?
justice, someone decides to kill people, and then
But
like
you're doing the same to animals.
800,000 people died.
And it's horrible, but you're doing the same to animals.
Just because someone wanted.
And you're doing
then
exactly the same
you
to
are
animals.
trying to say like you're trying to shame me like in front of I don't know how many.
I'm not trying to shame you at
how
all.
many
I told
people
you there's
of,
no
are
judgment
there
here.
following you?
I literally starting with there's no judgment here. It's not a shame
No,
zone.
this is
It's not about shame
there is
or
some
anything.
pressure and there is some judgment. I am not vegan.
Yeah.
But I do really appreciate what you do here, and I will try to, at my nearest future, to become vegan. But I'm not there yet.
And I would be remiss if I don't
With my-
say that
with the whole my
if when you
heart-
buy an animal product, an animal gets exploited and slaughtered on your behalf.
I don't
okay?
know the story. I don't know the topic.
I'm
quite
just
well.
telling you this. You make your choices. I'm not here to force you into any choice. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
to know the full picture. When you will buy an animal product, one animal will be exploited and slaughtered on your behalf. Not the animal that made that product, but the next animal, in order for that product to be replaced. So
Alright,
you gotta calculate your values. You gotta understand where your values are, and you do what you want to do. Okay? But personally, as a person who I support Ukraine and I understand the oppression and what the fuck Russia did there is fucking horrible. I would think that you alone should not then be on the other side of the oppressor. Just because you have power over them, you can choose to not do that. And I know it can seem like an insensitive comparison, but it is a very valid comparison because it's literally what we do to animals is exactly, well, I would say it's a little bit worse, but you see what I mean? Like we breed them to life to only to exploit and kill them. Don't support that. That's all I'm saying, okay? I'm trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
I'm
thanks
trying to
for that.
navigate in a way that where I'm not triggering you in any way. You see, I understand it's an emotional topic for you. I'm just trying to put the perspective and to show you that we can do better without having to make huge sacrifices or anything, okay? Let me just tell you, I'll just give you a card. And you have my YouTube channel here, and you can watch the conversation there. And what you can do also is, if you scan this QR code, you have
I
a
think you
thing.
will cut it out.
I don't cut it. No, it's
live.
it's live. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to cut anything.
All right.
So what you can do there is you have a thing there called Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist. They send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan for free.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. And if you want to learn more, but as you said, probably you don't have the time. But I urge you, if you have 30 minutes, just watch the most important speech ever here. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, what was your name again?
Julia.
Julia. Nice to meet you, Julia. I'm
Nice
Chip.
to meet you too.
Okay. Have a good one, and thank you for fighting for Ukraine. Thank you for demonstrating. You know. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. Okay. We need. It's a good thing you're doing.
Okay.
Have a good one. Bye. Sometimes it's difficult to navigate, huh? I fully empathize with all the people in Ukraine, but Pep Sylvia says you did that so well. Thank you. Ouch, that was tough, says Nick. Yeah, that was tough. Alexandra says well done. Thank you, Alexandra. Yeah, it was difficult. I felt like she was. Maybe she'll listen to this. I don't know. But even if she will, I felt like she was getting a little bit triggered and a little bit pushy. And I think like maybe I triggered some emotions in her. And by triggering those emotions in her, she became a little bit irrational and became a little bit like defensive. So I took a step back and I tried to get on the same level as her. But yeah, I don't know if I succeeded there. Only she will know. But yeah. Martin says she was very triggered. Yeah. EA says you are irrational. Yeah, EA. Very mature response. I'm not irrational. You're irrational. It's funny. Anyway. Eating meat saved the world. When did eating meat save the world? And why does that matter? Let's say killing somebody would save the world, right? Let's say killing a dictator would save the world. Let's say, I don't know, there's a war. You have this view of timelines and histories, and you know that if this war didn't happen, a much worser war, wow, that's hard to say, a much worser war would have happened otherwise. You could then make the justification or the claim that this war saved lives. Does that mean we should be doing war? No, that doesn't mean we should be doing war, right? I'm just trying to explain to you that that doesn't matter. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to, it's pretty simple, yeah. Ryan Williams says, most people hate vegans. Yeah, Ryan Williams, most people hate the individuals who try to do what's right. I know, even if everybody else doesn't. Why should that matter? Are you one of those people who only cares about what people think about them? Is that how you navigate life? Or do you think what is right or wrong should not be manipulated? I want to say mutable, but whatever, manipulated by what people think that is right or wrong. Do you think you have the strength to do what is right, even if others say that it is, even if others would hate you? Are you courageous enough, Ryan Williams? Or are you like a coward and you say, I don't care, I care more about what people say about me? And by the way, that's not true. Most people don't hate vegans. Most people hate, I don't know, animal rights activists maybe, but vegans, no. Most people don't hate vegans. Timeless Head says, go vegan, stop hating. That's a good one. And yeah, everybody, if you're enjoying these conversations, hit that subscribe and that notification bell so that you know when I'm going live. Next week, Alexandra and I might be doing a live 6-hour outreach. So hit that notification bell to see when we're going to go online. That's going to be interesting. Alexandra, die radikale Veganerin. So yeah. Laura says, most people hate animal exploitation. Exactly. Ryan Williams, if you want me to debate you, you can contact me on Instagram. My handle is RealChipGuy. You can contact me on Instagram and we can schedule a debate. I have no problem debating absolutely anybody who you want to debate with me. I have no problem even having just a conversation with you if that's what you want to do. Absolutely no problem at all. It's just that I really don't want to have a conversation where I speak and you type. Or I type and you type. I'd rather have a conversation live. That's just speaking. It's far more productive, far faster, and you get there. You get to the point much better and much faster. Gareth says, Gareth Baglow says, because you are a master debater. I'm far from it, far from it, but thank you. Okay, I'll take it as a compliment. I'm far from a master debater. I'm at best a mediocre debater, at best. Depends on the topic also, right? King Ann says, most people respect what others choose to eat. No, King Ann. Do you think people respected Jeffrey Dahmer for eating other humans? Do you think, because I thought he went to jail specifically for doing that. I thought his liberty was taken away from him because of what he ate. Is that not true? Did Jeffrey Dahmer not go to jail for eating humans, for killing and eating humans? King Ann says, bro, and then laughs. Yeah. That's exactly what you're doing. Is just instead of humans, it's animals. It's simple. And they're still individuals. They still feel, they still have a subjective experience of the world. Same thing. To them, their life matters to them just as much as your life matters to you, and just as much as absolutely any of those victims of Jeffrey Dahmer's life mattered to them. Rat Robbery says animals are food, not friends. To you, that's your value system. Your value system says that innocent sentient beings are food to you because somebody taught you that way. Did you ever ask the question, did you ever try to question why that is so? And FYI, humans are also animals. Are humans food? There you go, Carrie has the right idea. All animals deserve to be free. Rat Robbery continues saying that animals are food only. So Rat Robbery, again, are humans food only? Because humans are also animals. It's so funny, you know, like, I feel like so many of you individuals who consume animal products in the chat, who all you want to do is either trigger me or prove me wrong, instead of actually listening to the argument and engage with the argument. You try to, like, literally one of the rules as you've engaged in this chat is, it's not about myself, it's about the argument. So engage with the argument. Is exploiting and slaughtering innocent sentient beings for optional products something that your value system is okay to do? Rat Robbery says, I'm not an animal. Yes, you are. You're a human being, therefore you're an animal. Oh, okay, look, there we go. King N says, no, it's not immoral. Exploiting animals just for fun would be immoral. Well, King N, why is exploiting animals for fun immoral? I thought animals, you know, they don't really have moral consideration in your view, right? So exploiting them for fun is wrong? How is that? Why? Why is it wrong to exploit animals for fun? Ryan Williams, you can say everything, but I ask you a question. You wanted to talk to me? Tell me, why is exploiting animals for fun bad? So there is nothing wrong with dog racing or horse riding. So there's nothing wrong with exploiting animals for fun. So exploiting animals for fun is okay in your own worldview. In your values say that as long as you get some pleasure, some benefit from it, you can do pretty much whatever you want to an animal. And again, everybody who throws out arguments and I don't see them, let me remind you, I only see 4 or 5 messages in the chat, and the chat goes on and on pretty fast. So if you want to debate me, you have a better chance of contacting me on Instagram. My handle is RealChipGuy, and we can have a debate there. We can schedule one live where we have a conversation, and you can try to prove me wrong. We can explore where your values are and see where to go from there, and try to see if you are being morally consistent or not. Because that's literally what I try to show. That if you're not vegan, you're literally not being morally consistent. Yeah, King N. You guys want to try a social experiment? I don't think there is. If you let me put it this way, make a statement, and maybe you will agree with me. If you are not vegan, you're either being morally inconsistent with your values, or in a very, very small percentage, you might be a psychopath. And in other words, let me explain. If you think it's okay to exploit and slaughter humans because you get benefit from it, then you might be the psychopath. However, if you think it's not okay to exploit and slaughter humans, then you are being morally inconsistent. Because there is no morally significant difference between a non-human animal and a human animal that justifies exploitation and slaughter. Am I clear? Chip supports abortion, but don't eat an egg. What the fuck, says Dirty Money. I already talked about abortion once. You can hear the argument again. You have to just go back and hear it. You can look at the transcript of the video and see where I talk about it. That hat is ridiculous. Thank you. I like it. It's a nice hat, yes. I got it as a present, actually. And I like it too. Thank you. Oh, yes, I am. I am definitely pro-choice, yes. And you can look up my view. I explained to you whether I explained to you two things. You just have to look it up further down the line of this video, back in time. You can scroll. You literally have that option. I explained to you why abortion, whether it is moral or not, and whether it should be legal or not. I literally explained my position. So you can go ahead and navigate there and watch that. I'm not going to repeat it again because I'm here to speak on behalf of animals. I'm here to speak on their behalf. Is oppressing animals something that says it's okay? Oh, look, Glenn says meat is the best protein source. So, Glenn, you probably weren't here when I mentioned it, but we're doing this social experiment today where we're asking people in the chat that want to mention what it is that they eat, that they mention the victims of their choices, right? So when you say meat is a great source of protein, you should say the flesh of an innocent sentient being that was slaughtered for my optional food can provide me with protein. Because that's the reality, isn't it? An innocent sentient being was exploited and slaughtered for you so that you get some form of protein, which you could have otherwise gotten, of course, from plants and plant-based products. The consumption of meat, look at this, the consumption of meat does not constitute a form of exploitation. The consumption of flesh from an exploited and slaughtered innocent sentient being does not constitute exploitation. Do you hear the contradiction in the statement? Do you hear it? Because if you do, then you're already there. Ryan Williams, I told you over and over again, if you're interested in my position, you can just scroll back of this video and you will learn my position. Otherwise, move on. Ryan Williams, I will give you one more chance to move on. Otherwise, I will ask one of the moderators to time you out. Okay. Moderators, you have my approval to time Ryan Williams out. You have been warned. You have been warned. I have warned you. I told you. I already responded to this question. You just have to look back. Just because you refuse to do a little bit of your homework doesn't mean I have to do it for you, okay? All you have to do is move your finger a little bit to the left. Literally, that is insane that you can't do that. You want to try a social experiment? Thank you, Martin. As I said, if you want to hear my position, you know what? I'll make a video so that it's clear, okay? For everybody who is curious about my position on abortion, and so that you see that I am being morally consistent, you can see it. You want to try a social experiment?
Yeah, am I on camera though?
Yeah, if you want, you can.
How many people?
I don't know, 100 people?
Yeah, sure.
What's your name?
James.
Where are you from?
Canada.
Canada, nice. So James, how do you feel about animals?
I like them. I love them. Yeah.
Do you think animals are worthy of moral consideration?
Yeah, to some extent.
To some extent? What does that mean?
I mean, I guess save a life just as much as we do. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you think that behind the eyes of an animal there's a somebody?
I mean, they've got like yeah. Depends on the animal, but
Depends on the animal.
Yeah, it's
Let's do dogs.
yeah. I mean, like, you know, they would prefer to live, I think. But,
Yeah. Okay. And how about the farm animals, the animals that we usually consider? The cows, the chickens, the pigs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's similar. I'm not sure about the general intelligence of each animal, but I know in the wild animals hunt each other, so I don't know why it should be any different for humans. You know, like animals eat other animals. And
Could we apply this logic that because other animals do it, is it what you're saying, that it's okay to do it because other animals do it in the wild?
Yeah,
Should
I think
humans
so.
be allowed to do everything that other animals do in the wild? Because other animals, they rape each other, they commit infanticide. Should we be allowed to do that because other animals do it in the wild?
Yeah, I think it takes some judgment, and you know, we have to agree collectively as a human race. But I think eating other animals is a pretty natural thing in the wild.
So is rape, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a natural thing
so
because
you're
it happens in
suggesting that
nature.
humans should rape other humans?
I'm
Because that's not what I
suggesting that we
think.
shouldn't be eating other animals.
Because we shouldn't be raping other humans.
Because we shouldn't be raping other humans.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
saying in order to be morally consistent, you can't be morally consistent by saying it's okay it's moral for somebody to do this action. There you go. So if somebody cannot consent, is it okay to do whatever you want to them if they can't consent? You want to come here?
No, we're in the middle of this.
Okay.
So you think? I think that, you know, we shouldn't be allowed to rape other humans, but we should be allowed to eat certain animals if we want. Just
Why?
'cause,
Why should we be allowed to eat other humans?
no,
Why?
it's cannibalism.
So that is carnism. Giving it a name doesn't mean anything.
So why don't you think we should be able to eat other animals?
So I'll tell you this: why does a human have moral worth?
Because we're the most intelligent species, and I mean,
Is it intelligence? So if you find a human being who has the cognitive abilities of an animal, they don't have moral worth?
I don't think they don't have more worth. I just think we got to care the most about our own than about each other. I just think that's what it comes down to.
Isn't that exactly what racists say, that we got to care about our own?
I don't know why you're bringing race into this. We're
Because
talking
it's
about
the same thing, right?
animals versus humans.
Species, because the delimitation that you make is based on species, which is an arbitrary line, right? It's literally a categorization. We say these individuals are born on this species and these individuals are born on a different species. Nobody gets to choose which species they're born into. It's
Yeah, that's
still
true.
it's still a characteristic that you're born into, right? So saying that the line should be that you can do whatever you want to an animal just because they're born a different species than you is the same as saying you can do whatever you want to a human being because they're born a different race than you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a human element to it of judgment. I mean, like, I don't think you can do whatever you want to an animal. I think it's okay to eat certain animals.
Well, let me explain. Let me ask you again. Why is it wrong to harm a human being?
Why is it wrong to harm a human being?
Yeah.
Well, I think
Because
we just have rules set out as humans.
It's not
like-
intelligence, right? Is it because they're humans?
Partially, yeah, and also there's just rules set out. Like if I were to, harm him, then I get punished as that. That's what we've agreed upon as a human race.
So because of the consequences that you would feel?
Yeah, like my
So it's
moral
wrong
actions
to harm.
as well.
So it's wrong to harm somebody because that you might feel harm on yourself.
Yeah, that, and I also just have a moral obligation not to harm him. That's me.
Well, why do you
personally.
have a moral obligation not to harm?
Because those are my values, but also as a human race.
Well, why are those your values? That's what I'm trying to get.
Because that's how I was raised. That's what I've learned from living in the world.
So are your values just values that somebody said you should do this or not, or this is moral or not, or do you actually challenge what is moral or not?
I think a bit of both. Like some of it's what you're taught, some of it's what you've observed through all my years on Earth, and some of it's stuff I've challenged.
So let me tell you why I think it's wrong to harm a human being. The reason why it's wrong to harm a human being is because they would feel the consequences of me harming them. Right? Is because the reason why it's wrong to punch somebody is because they would feel the consequences of me punching them. The reason why it's not wrong for me to punch a tree is because a tree would not feel the consequences of me punching them, And that is called sentience. It's literally an emerging property.
So you think right or wrong just comes down to whether the recipient can feel the action.
And whether they have
Is
for
that's
me,
all
it's more than that. It's about having a subjective experience towards that, right?
So you think like a plant's alive?
But plants don't have a
don't feel it,
subjective
so that's
experience.
what makes it okay to eat plants, is what you're saying, not animals.
I don't think you should be healing plants, right? Because
So how are we
I
supposed
don't
to
think
survive?
Let me just put it this way.
Yeah.
I think you of course, as you said, right? You have to eat something. So if you had to choose to kill somebody, it's better to kill a plant than an animal, right?
Why?
Why? Because an animal is sentient and the plant isn't.
But an animal would kill you. Like a cheetah wouldn't think twice about killing you in the wild.
But then again, a cow wouldn't kill you. A
Because it
chicken
can't.
wouldn't kill you.
You
And
don't
a
know
pig
that. You don't
wouldn't
know
kill
that they
right?
wouldn't kill you. Like if they had like.
Who cares about that?
Let's
Like-
say in theory a chicken could use like a 12-inch sniper. Like in theory, I think the chicken probably wouldn't be afraid to kill you.
But
we've seen it with many
But
animals.
all these
not
animals,
all
all these animals, they don't do it because
You've never
they-
seen like an orangutan rip
Listen,
a
listen.
human's
All these
face and
animals,
genitals off?
animals.
That's a real thing.
But all these animals, they don't do it because they want to. They do it because they feel a need to do it, either for protection against you, because human beings are pretty fucking horrific individuals towards animals. So animals, they usually want to defend themselves when it comes to humans. So they either do it in defense or they do it to feed themselves, right? Out of
Right.
hunger, out of necessity.
So what
Do you
about
think
when,
we
like,
exploit and slaughter animals for food, we do it out of necessity, or do we do it out of convenience, taste, or
No, I think
tradition?
there's some truth to what you're saying. But what about when like a cheetah chases down a zebra? You ever see those videos in the wild?
But we've
where-
already established that what animals do in the wild should not be a moral indication of what we should be doing, right?
Why not?
Because again, animals rape in the wild. Should we be justifying rape by claiming that animals rape in the wild?
No, not
So
necessarily.
then why should we
'Cause I
be
think we're more
justifying
intelligent
killing
species.
other individuals by claiming that animals do it in the wild?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a valid argument, but it would take some massive changes as a human race to completely shift everyone away from
Perhaps.
eating animals, which is pretty just unrealistic.
Perhaps.
So
I agree
I think
that-
you should lower your expectations to what's
Perhaps,
realistic.
perhaps.
I understand your
Let
argument.
me put it this way, perhaps. But if you think about it, 200 years ago,
Yeah.
most of humanity was rife with slavery. 200 years ago, most of humanity was rife with slavery.
Right.
If I was to be an activist there and telling you that slavery is wrong, you would have said that, well, most of humanity participates in slavery.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
So you shouldn't be advocating for it to stop, but still, we advocated for it to stop because it was immoral to do so.
Yeah.
So then, I'm not saying that convincing the whole world to go vegan is an easy thing. No, probably it will take years, as you say. But the question is, where do your values lie? Do your values say it's okay to exploit and slaughter innocent animals just because somebody told you it's okay?
No, not necessarily. Like I make decisions for myself. I mean,
But you don't seem to have any logic behind those decisions, right?
which decisions?
Like, why is it okay to exploit and slaughter a cow or a pig, but not a dog or a human?
I think it's just because of our social norms as humans.
But social norms, it was social norm for women to not have rights at some point. That didn't make it moral.
Right, and we use our moral judgment. We adopt over time. So maybe
So
we
I'm
decide
asking
at
you
some
again
point.
about your moral system. It's not about what we as humans say, about your value system. According to your own value system, to your own moral system, what is the logic that says that it's okay to exploit and slaughter an innocent cow or a pig, but not a dog or a human?
Yeah, like I've never actually like slaughtered a pig, so
No, but I'm just asking.
No,
like,
I
from
get your point.
perspective.
I get your
Yeah.
point. I think it's I guess there's no real logic. It's just the way we're nurtured in in this day and age. Like, I grew up with like domesticated pets, and you kind of learn as a kid what's kind of something you would keep as a pet versus what you'd eat. Like, that's just kind of what I was taught. But as you think about it more, you can kind of come up with your own opinion as you get older.
Yeah, but you realize that there's no real logic behind it.
No,
I
agree.
It's just an arbitrary line that
it's arbitrary, but it's something we've established.
Yeah, it's something we've established, but again, throughout our history, you just pinpoint every point in our human history.
I agree. Like,
and there were things that were
time.
established, and we found them to be morally wrong because there was no logical moral justification behind them. So if there is no logical moral justification behind what we do to animals, then don't you think this is something that you should be questioning and not be participating in?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm still gonna eat animals. That's just me.
But wouldn't that go against your own moral judgment system then?
No. Well, it goes against what you're saying for sure. But
well, it should just be illogical in a sense, right?
Yeah. No, I understand your argument, but
yeah. Okay. Well, I can't, I can't police you going forward what it is that you want to do.
No, but I do appreciate the message you're trying to spread.
And in a sense, I know that a lot of us imagine this idea of animals that we have a communion with them where they live nicely and we kill them at the end. And that sort of reinforces this idea that it's not so bad. But the reality is we breed them, so we have to exploit their sexual nature, right? In order to breed them into existence. And we breed them into existence for the sole purpose of exploiting and killing them. That is fucked up alone, let alone everything we do afterwards. The whole idea of bringing somebody into existence, somebody who feels, and there's a somebody behind those eyes, just so that you can use them for whatever the use that you need and kill them, is fucked up in my own opinion. So, yeah, I would just urge you to look more into it. And you want to talk to me? I see all of you guys are.
We got to get going to the museum.
Yeah.
But thank you. No, I think you have a good mission here. You're doing a good thing. So I mean,
I'll just give you this card.
Sure.
I urge you to watch either Dominion or the most important
check it out.
speech you'll ever hear. You also have my YouTube channel there.
Is this how you make money? Or?
I don't make money from this. I
You're
make
just
some
funny.
money. I mean, but it just helps with like the cards that I buy and
Trying
shit.
to spread a message.
Yeah, I'm a software engineer as a day job.
True.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, yeah, it was nice chatting with you.
Nice chatting
Good luck
with you. And
your endeavors.
Promise me you'll watch one of those videos.
Yeah, I will.
Because you seem like an intelligent person.
Yeah,
so.
you as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care.
Hey, cheers, guys.
Also, no permission to post that on YouTube.
But it's already live. I asked you if it's live.
No, it's been live. I don't care if it's live, but just don't post it on YouTube if it's good.
But it is live on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Just don't clip me on your TikTok.
Okay, fair. I won't clip you. I will not clip you. I won't clip you. Okay, no worries. Yeah, there you go, everybody. What a conversation. I mean, I knew from the start that it's going to be a debate-ish conversation, so I didn't really want to... I kind of dropped the whole idea of trying to get that person to go vegan because I don't think he would have ever considered it. And I saw it more of a debate. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Felix says disappointed by my fellow Canadian. Yeah. Yeah. Martin, Henry asks, Chip, are you an abolitionist? Yeah, I'm an abolitionist. I'm here to abolition. I advocate for the abolition of animal exploitation. Yes. I'm a total animal liberation person. I want all animals to go free. Yes. And thank you everybody who's in the chat, who's vegan, who's interacting with everybody else, who's listening to the arguments, who's explaining, who has the patience there. Thank you for the moderators for doing all of this. I appreciate you doing that. And yeah. And yes, we do have rules in this chat. We try to be decent, we try to engage with the argument, and we try to be respectful, as you can see. And I also try to be respectful, and if there are times I'm mocking people, I'm sorry for that. I don't mean to be disrespectful when I'm doing that. I'm just doing it for the fun of it, but I guess it could be seen as disrespectful when I do it, so I try to do it less and less these days. Because I ask respect out of you, and I also want to give respect, so there you go. I think I have one more conversation in me, everybody. So Mike G's asked me, Chip, are you friends with meat eaters? I have some friends that consume animal products, yes, sadly so. But I have had the conversations with them. They understand the argument. So I'm only remained friends with the people who have understood the arguments and have accepted it as such. As in, they agree that it's the right thing to do is to be vegan, and they're trying to be vegan. They have their own situations, and I could definitely push them and help them go further, but with friends and family, it's always a little bit difficult because you stand to alienate them, and we all need to have also people around us. We're human after all, right? So we just usually don't talk about that subject. But when we do, they already know the position, they already understand, they already agree with it. The people who don't agree with it, the people who think veganism is not the right moral position, they usually I'm no longer friends with them, and not because you don't agree with me or something, but rather because they never actually either engage all the way to the end, or they get angry because they know they're not right, or I don't know. And it's not that we're not friends per se. It's more that we just relations end up being cold. We just end up not chatting so much anymore. That's how it happens, right? Because if they meet me and they start making a claim or something and about animal products or even something, I will say something. I'm not going to shut up. So then if it becomes a thing, they end up being upset or something, then it's just becoming more and more difficult to be around them. Both me to be around them and them to be around me. So yeah, that's what we do. And everybody, if you're enjoying this stream, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and let's get those numbers up. There's no real reason why, other than, I don't know, my mind enjoys those numbers, that's it. But only do it if you really are enjoying it. Only do it if you are thinking that you want to come back to this channel. I'm not asking for people to subscribe if they don't want to, okay? So subscribe if you're enjoying it, come back. We have a very nice vegan community here, and we unite, we talk to each other. And FYI, if you're not vegan and you have more questions or something, and you want to interact with somebody, you can also drop comments on this video or under any other video on my channel. Usually it's the latest videos, but once the stream ends and you want to drop some comments, I may answer, another vegan person may answer, so consider that. If you ever want to have a conversation, or if you're too shy to send me a message on Instagram, or if you don't want to debate me, or you don't want to have a conversation with me, whatever it is, consider simply dropping a comment, and you might go from there somewhere. We do have Lodevijk today. I need to go to the bathroom, but we do have Lodevijk, but he's busy in a conversation. Big Oink says, I love beef and salmon. Big Oink, we have a little bit of a rule today, where when we mention what it is that we like, we mention the full picture of it, right? When you say you like beef, what you like is the flesh of an innocent sentient being that was exploited and slaughtered for an optional product that you get taste pleasure from. And salmon was an innocent sentient being that was asphyxiated to death so that you get some taste pleasure for 10 minutes. Their whole life for 10 minutes for you. So that is what you like. You don't even know what you don't. Wow, that's so funny to me. That Big Oinky says you love the flesh of salmon, beef, and big. You don't even know the fact that beef is not an animal. You don't even know what innocent sentient animal you exploited and slaughtered was exploited and slaughtered on your behalf, so that you get some 10 minutes of taste pleasure. You guys want to try a social experiment? Well, if they're always carnivores, both Olwali. So the reason Olwali why we have these streams is to engage with the other side, you know, to engage with people who who consume animal products, to try and show them a different perspective. And yeah, that's the reason why we have these live streams and we have them vertically, so that more people hear a different perspective of it, you know. If for anything, you at least hear a different perspective. Whether that changes your mind, what you want to do, whether you want to exploit and slaughter innocent sentient beings, I cannot police you, but at least you're here and you're listening to a message, and at least I hope you are listening to a message. I hope you're not just trying to find justifications and trying to make a check mark where you're like, oh, look at that, I went to a vegan channel and I trolled them or I debated them or something. No, that's not going to work here, because that's not what we do here. This isn't about that. We're actually here to make changes. We're here to be productive. That's why everybody in the chat here is trying to be nice, is trying to explain and give you arguments and reply to your arguments. That's why we try to have patience and we try to discuss things, because we really are trying to change minds. Surely human lives are more important, says E3K the cat. I mean, you know, to you, human lives are more important, sure. To those innocent animals, they're not. But it doesn't even matter, does it? Because the moral question that we're asking ourselves is not whether you should exploit and slaughter an innocent animal or an innocent human, but rather, should you exploit and slaughter an innocent animal or not? That's the binary. Those are the options that you have. It's not human versus animal. It's animal versus nothing, versus plants. And plants, yes, they're not sentient. They don't have a central nervous system. They don't feel. They don't have emotions. And even if you believe otherwise, because I know somebody will jump into the chat saying, that's not true, I heard plants scream or something. There you go, I mocked. Sorry for mocking. It's not true. You know, plants are not sentient. They don't have a central nervous system. There is absolutely no proof or reminiscence of proof that they might ever be sentient. But let's assume that you do think that they are sentient. Even in those situations, it's still morally preferable to be vegan, because as a vegan person, you know, you would only be eating some plants, whereas when you eat animal-based, and it's not just about food, it's also clothing, entertainment, all these other situations. You need to remember that all those animals that are exploited on your behalf, for whatever reasons they are, food, clothing, etc., they are actually fed plants themselves. So in a sense, you would be killing more plants by not being vegan. JB, a debate. You see, funny, JB, you don't even realize that it is already a contradiction what you're saying. I'm trying to debate. If you guys change my mind, then that's cool, says JB. Well, JB, the role of a debate is not to change your mind or not believe it. The role of a debate is for you to have one position, for me to have a position, and for me to defend my position versus your position, and somebody may win or lose a debate. It's not whether I win or lose a debate, it doesn't necessarily mean I change my mind or not. Whether you win or lose a debate, it doesn't mean whether that you will change your mind or not. But so you hear the contradiction in your statement alone, that you are trying to debate us. Like that alone tells you that you are not here to actually engage with the argument, but rather you're just here to say your point of view from the argument and not actually listen to the other side. There you go. And the whole thing about it is, and I'll explain it in a nutshell. I don't think we can have another conversation. I don't see everybody stopping by, and in 10 minutes I have to stop because we're with a whole group of activists, and that's when we're stopping. So I'll tell you this. You know, the whole point behind veganism is because you have other alternatives, there is absolutely no reason for you to exploit innocent sentient beings, whether that is for food, for clothing, for entertainment, or any other purpose that you find. When you have an alternative, how can you morally justify choosing? Because that would mean that whenever you choose for an animal to be exploited on your behalf, you're making a conscious choice for an animal to, again, be exploited on your behalf. How can you morally justify that, knowing that you could always choose not to? Hey, that gay vegan, nice to see you here. You guys want to try a social experiment? Dirty money. Again, I kept telling, I know you were here in the chat, and I'll tell you also again, if you want to debate me, contact me on Instagram and we can have a proper debate. I do not want to debate me talking and you typing, especially when there's other people typing also. It really doesn't help. It's counterproductive. It's annoying to me. It's annoying to you. You may not feel like you're being listened to. Some messages YouTube may delete. I don't know what's happening there. It's just not going to work. It's not a good communication way. It's not a good way to communicate amongst each other. So if you want to debate me, or if you want to have a conversation with me, contact me on Instagram and we can set something up. I've been saying this on every stream and absolutely nobody has had the courage to do that. So I welcome it. I really do welcome it. This is why I'm asking you to join the live. JB, YouTube does not have the option to join the live. I wish they did, because then I could stay at home and ask people to join the live and have these conversations with people on home. But YouTube does not have that option. It's not TikTok, it's YouTube. TikTok, I know they have that option. YouTube doesn't. Yeah, Gio the hero says you would debate me, but you're too lazy. Yeah. Well, I guess you're conceding then. And again, if you want, sorry, again, I keep saying again. I know I keep saying again. I'm a bit tired also. You know, having these conversations both with like this, interacting like this with people in the chat is tiring, by the way. And keeping a sign always and looking at people, trying to get people to come over is also tiring. Having these conversations, repeated conversations with people can get tiring. I'm just saying I might make mistakes, but I'm trying to bait someone into coming. Come on. You're tired because you're vegan, my friend says, Taste Buddy. Oh, buddy, if you only knew how much, how intense of a workout I did this morning. If you only knew how many things I did today already, and it is 4 p.m., and how many more things I will do today. Oh, buddy. Imagine judging somebody without knowing their history. That's so insane to me. Claiming that I'm tired because I'm vegan. Also, by the way, I literally took my nutritionist certification yesterday, and I can tell you for a fact that my diet is on point, 100% on point. So you claiming that I'm tired because I reject animal exploitation, like it's like you claiming that I'm tired because I don't wear leather makes just as much sense as you claiming that I'm tired because I don't eat animal products. Just as much makes sense. It was an attempt at humor. Yeah. No, I think I'm going to be sitting here. But hey, guys, you know, I think that will be it. I'll be sitting here, and if somebody comes until we end, they come until we end, and if they don't, at least we've been sitting here trying, you know. So people in the chat, Come on, ask me some questions. Shouldn't we help people first? Asks E3K the cat. E3K the cat, if that's where your value system says that you should be helping people first, far be it from me to judge what your value system is, Yeah, do that. Fight for the people first. I'm not asking you to sit here and fight for the animals, right? I'm not advocating for that here. What I'm asking is the bare minimum that when you make a choice, when you buy clothes, when you eat food, when you choose what to watch as an entertainment, that you choose the option that does not exploit an innocent animal. It's pretty easy. In the case of clothes, don't buy leather, buy vegan leather, buy any other things other than something that was made by exploiting animals. In the case of food, you can buy anything else that did not exploit an animal. You can get nutrition, you can get taste, you can get all of it from it. So you make these choices anyway, 3 times let's assume food, right? In the case of food, you definitely make these choices. 3 times per day, you make a choice. When you make that choice, nobody's forcing you whether you should be eating one thing or another. So why not choose to not exploit an innocent sentient being, an animal, and then throughout the rest of your day, you can choose to fight for human rights, whatever else you think that is extremely important to fight for. You see, I'm not advocating for you to fight for animal rights, although that would be extremely cool. What I'm advocating for is that you do the bare minimum and stop exploiting animals. That's it. It's just the bare minimum. Can I obtain 3,000 calories a day on a vegan diet? I mean, I eat 3,500, at least 3,500 calories each day. In fact, there's days when I have 4,000 and there's days when I have 5,000. So yeah, I don't see why not. Of course you can. A carbohydrate has 4 calories per gram, protein has 4 calories per gram, and the fat has 9 calories per gram. Doesn't matter what the source is, whether it's animal-based or plant-based. They have the same amount of calories for that 1 gram. Eat Ray K the cat. Veganism is a moral stance. It's not about diet or anything else. Veganism is a moral stance against animal exploitation. It's the moral stance where you say that animals should not be exploited for you, that they are not here for you to exploit. It's more than anything, it's a way of seeing animals differently, right? Because if you see animals as for you, then you see animals as objects, you objectify them. However, if you choose to see animals as what they are, individuals who have a life of their own, who have an intrinsic value of their own, the extrinsic value that you place on them doesn't really matter, then why exploit them, right? That's all it is. Veganism is about acknowledging their intrinsic value. It's about acknowledging that they are the same as us in all the ways that matter. And it's about not exploiting them, making different choices. Not about dedicating your time, not about doing anything else other than making different choices. I may stop growing my own plants, but I can't stop eating animals. They're too good, says HHH. Yeah, so you got to ask yourself, HHH, do your values say that a sensory pleasure dictates whether somebody should be brought into existence only so that you can exploit them, so that you can stimulate that sensory pleasure? And if you say that's okay, then let's go deeper. Huh? What kind of what other sensory pleasures would you accept? Would you accept? Would you think sexually exploiting an animal is okay if you get pleasure from it? And what is the difference between sexually exploiting an animal for pleasure or sexually exploiting an animal to get some products that give you taste pleasure? Is there a difference, really? I mean, at the end of the day, the animal still feels the consequences of that as an exploitation that you do onto them, don't they? HHH says only to eat, bud. Yeah, but you see, that's very arbitrary, isn't it? Because you can eat other things, right? Like, imagine this. Imagine we lived in a world where one race of humans would eat another race of humans. And me as that one race, and I know you can hear it what way, but hear me out. Let me finish it. Imagine that this one race, right, says, well, we've always been eating these other humans and you gotta eat. Yeah, but you as a normal person would say, well, we don't need to eat humans. What are you talking about? Just like that, we don't need to eat animals. It's the same. It's just the differentiation between killing and eating a human based on the race is just as silly as a differentiation of killing and eating an animal based on species. It's just an arbitrary line that you draw. It's just the same thing. They are part of my group. It's extremely similar. Does anybody have any questions? As far as I see, I might need to end it, and I have like 5 more minutes. Laura asks, why do you think they avoid engaging with the argument? So Laura, the reason I kept asking myself this also, honestly, I don't blame a lot of people who consume animal products for what it is that they do. I do blame people who consume animal products for not doing research. I do blame them for that. I do think that you have at least the moral obligation to look more into it. You have the least the moral obligation to, I don't know, watch Dominion, to watch the most important speech you'll ever hear, to watch a goddamn 3-minute video that's in the description of this video, and to go even further. You want to try a social experiment? And to go even further, to document yourself. I believe you have a moral obligation to at least know what you're supporting. I personally believe that you should also not be doing it, but then I think that you just giving ridiculous excuses left and right because your brain gives ridiculous excuses. It's not that you intentionally give ridiculous excuses. It's just that your brain says, well, what about this? What about that? Because you know what? Your brain is always telling you do not change, because brains don't like change. That requires a little bit of mental energy. The body was made for you to not spend too much energy. So just because your brain tells you that, just because you inherently feel that it would be better for you not to change, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look into it whether you need to change or not. Because you know what? If your moral value system says that it's wrong to exploit and slaughter innocent animals for anything that you would consider optional, let's say for fun, then I would argue that there is absolutely no morally significant difference between exploiting and slaughtering an innocent animal for fun or exploiting and slaughtering an innocent animal for optional food. Both, the differentiator for both is pleasure, taste, convenience, which in my book are not good enough justifications to do this to animals. Only one person in this chat said they have the courage to watch every second of Dominion. There you go. And I try to say it in all kinds of ways. I feel like people who are not vegan in this chat, please listen to this. If you hear one argument from me and it sounds completely berserk or absurd, do not classify me as insane or something, or maybe you can do that to me. I don't care necessarily about that. But what I'm trying to say is that, okay, wait, maybe that argument didn't work on you, right? That's why I try to bring it in different ways and say it and try to bring different arguments to you, because maybe another argument will speak better to you. That's all I'm saying. So maybe if you don't think that the whole idea of exploiting and slaughtering innocent animals is the same as exploiting and slaughtering innocent humans, then engage with other arguments. Why is it that we exploit and slaughter cows and pigs but not dogs? Why is it that we think some animals deserve moral consideration and others don't? Why is it, and this is a good question because I would assume anybody in this chat would say that factory farming is bad. Everybody in this chat will say factory farming is bad. Why is factory farming bad? Why? Factory farming is literally nothing more than the same agricultural practices we do to all animals, but done at a mass scale. To each individual animal, they feel probably almost surprisingly similar in whether they're in a factory farm or not. In fact, there's a study that was done on 1,300 dairy farms in Germany, and they showed that the well-being of an animal is surprisingly similar between factory farms and smaller dairy farms. But factory farms, they trigger something within us when we see them. They show us that animals are objectified. They show us that putting an animal on a conveyor belt is insane, because our mind definitely tells us that animals are more than objects. They tell us that there's an individual, so there's something to them. But when we see them on a conveyor belt, we see them as an objectification of them, and that is very scary to us. So the reason why factory farming seems so bad isn't because it's a mass scale, how everybody says. It's because it reminds us of the objectification that we do to animals. But just because we objectify them in a different way, that doesn't remind us of the objectification, that doesn't mean that it is right to do so, right? Farming, all forms of farming are forms of objectifying animals. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm done, because I'm getting tired and I see everybody packed up. So I think that's it, everybody. I wanted to have another conversation, but because we're so many activists here, you know, it's difficult for people to start. Alexandra, see you tomorrow, says, yeah, see you tomorrow. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I hope you got something out of these conversations. I don't know. We didn't have a lot of conversations. We more like you just heard me do monologues and try to have conversations with people in the chat. If you're not vegan, everybody, and you want to have conversations with me, contact me on Instagram. It's very difficult to have conversations like this. You can contact me on Instagram. You can drop comments in the video section. I will respond to some of them. Yeah, and you know what? I urge you to watch the 3-minute video before you even engage with me or interact with me. Please watch the 3-minute video that's in the description of this video, just so that we have a little bit of a baseline. Anything else? What can I say? Well, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you, I don't know, even coming up with arguments and trying to think a little bit. I know you're trying. Some of you are trying, so I appreciate that you're trying. And I especially appreciate everybody who donated. Thank you for that. And everybody who engages with all the people in the chat. Thank you so much for having the patience. You know, it's repeated arguments. It's not always easy. So thank you for being there. If you're enjoying my type of content, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and hit that notification bell so that you know when I'm online. Yeah, as No Injustice Lasts Forever says, there are no arguments against veganism being the moral baseline. There are no arguments against veganism being the moral baseline. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit weird for a minute, yeah. Anything else I want to tell you? Do one thing, you know, you're not vegan, okay? You kind of think vegan people are crazy, you know? We're crazy for not wanting animals to be exploited for us, right? Let's assume, I'm going to assume this position. You think of this about us. Just do one thing today. You probably, a lot of you have sit in this chat and have debated with people and have gotten heated a little bit. It got a little bit here and there, but do one thing. Go into the description of this video. I say it again. There's a 3-minute video. It takes 3 minutes of your life. Watch it and see if afterwards you really don't feel anything. You might feel something, and if you feel something, then there is hope there. Then you might explore that feeling. Explore why it is that you're feeling that. Because maybe deep down you also really realize that what we do to them is wrong. And if it's a matter of how to do it, you have resources there. If it's a matter of why to do it, well, that's where I cannot help you. Why? I try to. That's why I do this, to try to help you why we should go vegan. But I urge you to also watch it if you're so reluctant to it. And E3K the cat says, remember, people take priority over animals. E3K the cat, I have no issues with you having a value system where you prioritize humans over animals. I have a value system where I prioritize my family over other individuals. And if I were to have a pet, I don't, but if I were to have a pet companion, then I would probably prioritize, they would be prioritized over other human beings, right? So my moral value system would be obviously a little bit more complex than just I value these or these, right? So whatever your value system is, it doesn't mean you get to draw a line somewhere and say, fuck you to everybody underneath this. It doesn't mean that you get to exploit and slaughter them for something that you don't need. And to be honest, like, you definitely need to see at least a little bit of what we're talking about, because if you haven't seen it, it will be insane if you haven't seen it. If you have not seen what animals go through, you'll be surprised when you see it for the first time. Oh, E3K, the cat says your value system is sick. So my value system of valuing my family over strangers is sick, or valuing the people in my group more over others is sick. Wow, that is being intellectually dishonest on you, man. Okay, but you know, you have, it's insane that you're being so intellectually dishonest, but yeah. Wait, what? Chip wears wool socks. Sure. These are wool, huh? Not 100% cotton. It's so funny, man, that like these arguments, like, why even bring them up? They're so stupid, you know? Why? I never had wool socks also, but anyway. Thank you so much, everybody, for being this chat. That was a funny joke that I wear wool socks. Thank you so much for being in this stream. Thank you for engaging with the argument, and I hope you have listened to something. Please, if you're not vegan, watch the 3-minute video. It takes 3 minutes out of your life. If you have more questions, come back to these streams. We like to interact more with people. We are welcoming people. You know, we're not here to judge or to bash. We're here to have conversations. We're here to change minds, and we're here to help you live up to your own moral standards. If you are vegan, consider speaking up on behalf of animals. Being in this chat even helps out a lot, you know, like talking to people. You see, you interact. I think that we had some people who, after having conversations with us in the chat, have decided to go vegan. So there you go. That's something. No pressure, by the way. Yeah, don't be violent, be vegan. And what else can I say? I don't know. I appreciate everybody for being here. I really do appreciate you. It makes all of this a little way easier because you guys are here, and you guys and girls and everything in between. I really do appreciate you, and I will make a video on abortion, okay? I will make a video for everybody who's been asking me about that. I know I said it in here. I know you might be a little bit lazy and you don't want to scrub or whatever. That's okay. Maybe you cannot do it. I will make a video about it. I will post it, and you can formulate an opinion, and then you can come back into these streams, live streams, and say whether I'm a hypocrite or not, or whether my values I'm being morally consistent or not. I really enjoy being challenged on my views, on my values. It's the only way we can grow is by being challenged, okay? So even if your initial reaction when I question your values, or when people in the chat question your values, is to get defensive or to be like, no, that's not true, or whatever it is, try to fight that and try to think a little bit, okay? We're just here to get you to think and to change, of course, yes. Martin, as he says, be vegan for the animals, 100%. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I hope you're having a good time. Have a nice Sunday, rest of Sunday, everything else. I will see you in the next one, and maybe the next one will be a 6-hour one, and we might have more conversations. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't know when the next one will be, but thank you. Subscribe, like, and thank you for everybody who donated, for the moderators again, and for everybody who has had patience. I really do appreciate everyone here, okay? It's been a pretty long monologue, by the way. Thank you for that. Bye, everyone.